This brand is in decline. It's been in decline for a really long time. And if we do not attract young drinkers to come and drink this brand, there will be no future for Bud Light.
A New York Times report shows that the American media group Vice is headed towards bankruptcy as well.
How do you stay up?
Why would I be down? I'm a very fortunate person. I didn't lose my job. I lost my sister. A job is something that is not as important as a person. So,
you know what's important in life?
Yes, I know what's important.
Fox ousted Carlson, but under contract, if they keep paying him, he can be kept, according to this contract and the way it's been reported, off the air.
I love you, but Stephen hurt me.
Watch it. Watch it. Fucking watch it.
Right now, production is at a standstill for some of TV's most popular shows as the Writers Guild of America strike continues.
I don't know if anybody's taking notice of what's going on right now over at Barstool, where
I saw something. What is going on?
All right, let's spend some. Maybe we'll clip this out. Let's clip this out for a separate segment, because this is actually a very vindicating, I think, for a lot of my theories and our theories about how to run a media company.
All right.
So Barstool had this guy who worked for them, and he was on the air, and he was singing along to a rap song because he had the lyrics.
I already know how that's gonna go.
A racially charged and bloodthirsty text message sent by Tucker Carlson was reportedly a key factor into the anchor's shocking exit from Fox.
So Zoe's holding the mic up to let the protesters be heard through the mic because she won't be called on herself.
AOC is wrong a lot. She'd probably say the same thing about me, but she's not corrupt. And I will work with anyone and everyone to ensure that Congress is not so compromised. We should disallow congressional stock trading for the same reason we don't allow the referee to bet on the game.
I mean, you have talked about this woke mind virus.
Yes.
In really apocalyptic terms, it's pushing civilization towards suicide. And if we don't deal with this, nothing else can get done.
I think we need to be very cautious about anything that is anti-meritocratic, and anything that is that results in the suppression of free speech.
You're claiming to have wanted to reopen schools. I think you'll find that most parents believe you were the tip of the spear of school closures. There are numerous statements you made over the summer of 20, scaring people to death about the possibility. And for you to sit in front of Congress and the American people and say, oh, I wanted to open them the whole time, I am shocked. I'm stunned.
The people who pressed on with that American creed, yes, we can.
Yes, together, we will make America better.
Oh, yeah. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're back for another episode of Unintelligent Intellectuals, where I try to be optimistic and try to solve the world's problems, and
I try not to lose my temper.
Yeah, so somewhere in between that, we'll have an entertaining discussion about what's going on in the world. So we can start with the Budlight thing, Budweiser.
Oh yeah, so we were talking about that, and then I told you to just press
the button.
Press the button.
Push the goddamn button.
What about the Bud Light?
I mean, from the get, I mean, it's funny. Go ahead.
I don't understand how this is the one boycott that's stuck.
I think it goes back to what you were like. I think that first episode that we recorded that we didn't put out because it was a little too dicey. But in the beginning, it was like we were talking about like these commercials that like people just or companies
that
like
was
shamelessly.
Hold on, that was insane.
Yeah.
The conversation itself wasn't insane.
That was not. I don't think we can still. That
is something you never put out to the public.
Yeah. That one is that's an exclusive bit right there. But and that one is like like people just tired of companies shamelessly trying to invoke their emotional state in order to get a sale. Mm-hmm. But it's like this Bud just did it in the most obnoxious way possible with the most obnoxious mascot possible. And I think people are really resonating against that. They're just like, what the fuck is this? It's like, I mean, a lot of companies did a lot of wild shit, like especially like, with all this stuff. I mean, with pretending to care about the African American community during Juneteenth, or like during Pride Month, and promoting and creating all these products and painting their cars in certain colors and stuff like that. It's like, all right, this is crazy. But this one is a little bit more obnoxious because they slap the face of this person who they're trying to put forward as kind of like their mascot in the attempt of trying to up the sales. And I think that's wild. That's real, because like they committed like laser printing technology and resources to putting it on the cans.
It was
like
just it was just a commemorative thing to her.
Yeah,
it was just a 6-pack. It wasn't any more than that.
Yeah, but I think for them to like I
don't think that took much effort.
Maybe
all you have to do is just have the design, and then it does
just print it on there. Yeah, fair enough. I'm not an expert on the.
Well, they mass produce the cans, so they have to put that on there. So all they have to do is just find the programming to not.
Yeah. I don't know if it's as expensive than.
Yeah, I don't think it was that. Yeah.
But I think it's just the visualization of it, and like the person themselves is just like, all right, you got a pretty obnoxious character over here, just like taking this weird bath with Budlight. It's like it's not appealing. Like even if you're trans, you're not like, wow, look at that pod. Like it's just not an appealing commercial. It's not an appealing visual thing.
Body shame.
I'm just saying. It's a byproduct of not
I was joking with somebody the other day. Like we were just texting back and forth, and I was thinking, it's because it's an easy boycott.
I mean, there's a lot of easy boycotts.
Well, no, I mean, like if you want to boycott Nike, it's hard to avoid Nike.
I see, especially if you're used to buying certain types or certain caliber of equipment.
No, I'm talking about logistically.
You think it's hard logistically?
Well, like, let's say you're going to boycott McDonald's.
Yeah.
What happens if you've got 30 miles to the next exit and there's a McDonald's and you're hungry?
Yeah, but there's a lot of alternatives.
I just said there's 30 miles to the next exit.
Yeah.
So where's the alternative?
Oh,
you're on the highway, like you're not gonna fucking go. Well, God damn it, I'm not gonna go to McDonald's. Like, no, you're just gonna pull off and hit the fucking drive-through and say, "Fuck it, it's quick, it's right there. I don't give a fuck. There's a drive-through."
Damn, I must be like in the middle of nowhere, Alaska, like 30 miles of.
No, I'm just using that as an example. Or like you want to boycott Shell gas stations. Like if you need,
I see, it's like they're more functional than anything else.
Also, it's just so inconvenient for me to not go to McDonald's.
I mean, when
I could boycott Hardee's or whatever because there's no Hardee's around.
Yeah.
Like, but if I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna boycott Taco Bell. Well, what if I ever have a craving for like Mexican, Mexican food? But I don't want to sit at a restaurant. It's fucking Chipotle or Taco. Like it'd be difficult for me to boycott Taco Bell.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of local food trucks and stuff like that. But I hear what you're saying. It's like if you're
because it's a fast food thing.
Yeah, you're
it's
used
about
to it.
Hitting a drive-through, getting what I want in 2 minutes, and then just going.
Yeah. I could see that. Like it's just But I think it's more than a convenience thing. I mean, I'm not to negate.
Well, you're not even getting to what I'm talking about.
No, it's more convenient.
No, meaning you go into a 7-Eleven and you want beer.
Yeah.
You literally just move your hand to the right, and it's the same price.
Yeah, it's a convenence thing.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm with you. That's what I'm like.
You said I think it's a little bit more than that, I'm saying I think that's
not to undermine what you're saying, but I'm saying I think it's more than just a convenience thing. Like I think the reason why people are
no, I'm talking about why
blood.
it's actually still going on.
Okay.
I'm not talking about why people are boycotting it.
Yeah.
How many people boycott McDonald's, but they still end up going back to McDonald's?
I just don't think they're that committed. I don't think they were that committed to the boycott. It's like when people are boycotting.
But that's my point. The reason why they're not committed is because it's an inconvenience.
Damn. So people are just, it's not so much people, this is the issue that people want to really die on. It's more so like people are too lazy to.
It's not being lazy.
Make other
being lazy.
boycotts reality.
It'd be like if people got pissed off at Ragu.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, they were.
I have no idea. Did they do something?
No, not Ragu.
Goya?
Yeah, Goya. They were bad at Goya for a while.
Yeah, and then they stopped because that's like the main.
Because it's fucking delicious.
It'd be like if like Ragu came out with something and people didn't like Ragu. Well, it's literally just you go to the aisle and you go, oh yeah, Ragu. I'm just gonna get Barnella or whatever, the Barilla or whatever the fuck it's called.
I mean, with all the examples,
it's literally just going to the left.
Yeah. But like I think more than that is also like, Taco Bell, like, okay, is it real taco or not? It's tasty. McDonald's is like, it's convenient, breakfast sausages are nice. Ragu is like, oh, it's convenient. It's like, oh, but there's this other stuff there, but it's like, but I'm used to Ragu. But it's like with Budlight, with Budweiser in general, it's like it's not a good beer. I think it's a shit beer. So
what is
Budweiser, Bud Light.
I think Bud Light's better than Budweiser.
Isn't it the same? It's the same company though, right?
Yeah.
It's all under the same company. So I mean, like in general,
Stella.
like it's just.
They do Stella too.
Oh, okay. I thought that was different. Stella.
It's a Belgian like ale, but it's actually under the Anheuser-Busch. Yeah.
Oh wow. But I don't know if people make that connection. I'm curious to see if the Stella sales have dropped or not. But probably not.
I mean, if they have, it's nothing that
not to the effect like Bud like dropped like 17 points.
Yeah.
And that's not even, and this is fairly recent, so this is not even taking into account like that
the long-term effects.
Yeah.
If they're doing like.
The stores are still buying the product to backfill, but as soon as their product stops flying off the shelf, then it's like they're not going to buy any more product, especially if they have
because
like
they still have the product. Yeah.
Yeah. So then they're just going to be like, all right, well now then the sales are really going to take an impact. So yeah, I think it's because it's a shit product. Also, I mean, yeah, the message. Yeah, I think the convenience plays a factor in it for sure. I think the convenience of it plays a factor, but I think it's not a good product, so people are just like, oh, I'm not missing out on not eating or not consuming Bud, So I think,
and price doesn't help.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure Yingling, Coors, and Miller are all the same price.
Yeah, but
and they're stationed right. I mean, they're always stationed right together.
Yeah, it's not like it's
that's what I'm talking.
Yeah, it's different from McDonald's, where like
you can pick any product. Eggs.
Yeah, Burger
pasta.
King is another option, but there's not as many Burger Kings as there are McDonald's, and so it's like I get the like wherever you could get a Bud at, you could get all these other things. So it's just I'm just not gonna pick that one. So yeah, I get it. I get that.
Yeah, because like if you're already eating fast food.
Yeah.
Like somebody who doesn't eat fast food, it's easy for them to boycott something.
Yeah,
like that. But
if you eat a lot of other foods,
if you like are cool eating fast food, like there are going to be times where you might just have to go to a Wendy's.
Yeah.
Because in your head, you're driving. You're not going to be like, well, do I do a U-turn and go 5 minutes in the opposite direction?
I'm going
to go to the McDonald's.
12 more hours to go. Should I really go that out of my way, or
what if you're running late to work?
Yeah. Conveniently, just whatever.
You're running late to work. You haven't had anything to eat.
Yeah.
Oh, let me just go to McDonald's.
Yeah. No, for sure. So I think you're right.
I use McDonald's because I don't I have Taco Bell and McDonald's. Outside of that, there is no other quick eating option outside of like Jimmy John's.
Oh, okay. Oh, I mean, like now things have changed. Like, I think after the COVID, it's people have been gotten used to like getting food or like restaurants have been engineered to push out food quickly. Just like order ahead of time, come over here, curbside pickup. There you go. You could do the Uber Eats thing if you're at home or like
that's expensive.
Yeah. That's
the deliveries and everything like that because I'm broke.
Well, you can pick up. There's a lot of taco places that are way better than Taco Bell that you could just pick it up Taco
but people are
Tuesdays.
gonna go to.
Yeah, Taco Bell's more widely known, but it's like if you.
Well, no, it's fast food, so it's quick access.
No, but like
if I go to a taco place, I'm gonna have to probably wait in line, because if it's good, there's gonna be a line.
Yeah, but like there's restaurants that you could order ahead of time for curbside pickup, swing by Taco Tuesdays.
Yeah, but now you're going in extra effort.
Yeah, and there's not as many, so that's what I'm saying. It's not as plentiful. It's not as recognizable. So I'm not undermining your
We're
point.
agreeing. It's just it's
exactly.
such an easy thing to boycott.
Yeah. It's a convenient thing to boycott.
You're like, I don't want that type of yogurt.
Yeah. You don't go to a specialty store for that yogurt. It's like, you're at the convenience store. 4 other
yogurt
options. That's right there. right. So yeah. So I get that. That's definitely.
Plus, it's like milk because I don't think there's not.
yeah. But I don't drink milk. Put white liquid in my mouth. Only on Fridays, bro.
You are a black man.
But yeah, man, it's I think that does play a factor. I think that a lot of people didn't like the message at first. I mean, or now.
It's just like it's an easier thing for you to hold on to because, like, I don't have to drink Bud Light.
Yeah.
If I want to drink a cheap beer, I can just drink Miller.
Yeah.
And Bud Light gave people a reason to say, not tonight.
Yeah.
And then they could just keep that up because it's like I'm just getting Bud Light because of the brand name.
Yeah.
Because there's no real difference in quality between like a Coors Light, a Miller Light, and like a Bud Light. Like it's all a fairly like watered down light beer. So like
I don't like any of those. But I'm not a big beer guy.
I would like Bud Light for like when it's like a big drinking day.
I know they had
like I'm gonna be at the beach and I'm going to have like 10 beers that day.
Yeah.
Over the course of the day. Like I don't want to have 10 Yinglings or like 10 Guinnesses.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna have a 4% light beer.
Yeah.
That's like water, and I'll start at noon and then end at midnight or whatever.
I hear you.
I could just have a beer an hour drinking something that's not going to make me that messed up.
I heard Bud had some specialty drinks. I think that they had seasonally, and I had those. I was like, oh, this is kind of good. But in general, like I'm not a big. I don't know. I'd rather sip on like some hard.
Well, no, it's a cheap binge drinking beer.
Yeah.
You're not drinking one.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah.
If you're buying,
that was yummy.
if you're buying Bud Light, it's like it's after work, and I'm going to have 4. It's a multiple drink beer.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas like you get like a nice IPA or some craft beer, like you can just have the one, and you're having that with your dinner.
Yeah.
Or you're having one just to relax, and then you're gonna go to sleep.
Yeah, I'm thinking I grew up when when I was a kid. Like we were sipping on Presidente, the Dominican beer.
Oh yeah, I like that.
That's gold for me. I feel like that's the standard for beer. Like beer, that's what beer's supposed to taste like every time, especially when it's ice cold.
Well, that's what like Yingling is in America.
Okay.
That would be like it's one of those like uniquely tasting like like the first time your dad lets you sip it's like, well, let me sip it, Dad. And you're like 6 or something.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the hell is
Ew.
It's like one of those
Go
like.
back to it. I'm an adult now. Look.
But yeah, like Yingling would be that classic beer taste, which is I've had a Presidente. It's like the same type of thing.
Got you. Okay.
Obviously, it has its unique twist on it because it's coming from a completely different.
Right. Not to say it tastes like it. It's just that
but it's like that classic beer.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, they could have. That's how their marketing strategy could have been like the equivalent of that. Trying to make
this whole thing came out before we've ever done a podcast, dude. Right?
What, the Bud thing? Or
yeah. I mean, so we haven't talked about this on the pod.
No. About
the Bud Light.
No.
I can't remember.
No. We haven't. It's been a while since. I think that's why we have this backlog of.
I think it came out maybe a couple days after we did it.
Yeah.
I think it was like soon after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the last one was like crack and the one we were talking about. Oh, trans and crack.
Oh my god.
and your boy, who I always get his name wrong, the failed comedian who's successful somehow. The fighter who
Brendan Shaw.
Yeah.
The failed comedian who's successful.
That's the best thing that I could. I know he does other stuff, but man,
because I've had this conversation with other people.
Okay,
this, so
just making sure that. Yeah.
So like they could have just gotten like a famous trans person.
Yeah, or they could have like just done something for the trans community.
No, famous trans person.
Is it more of an impact?
Well, no, because that people go, well, I mean, they'll see the trans, but their reaction is going to be so much more less feeling inside, because subconsciously the real vocal point is the celebrity. Be like Caitlyn Jenner.
What you're saying. Yeah.
Like, that obviously they're trying to nudge the trans community.
Yeah.
Or like
supporters of,
or push the LGBTQ thing. But, but they're seeing someone famous.
Yeah.
So then the reaction is
it's
just
a little
like,
bit more acceptable.
Well, the reaction would still be there, but it would be like, well, Bud Light's ridiculous. But at the end of the day, you're like, well, I'm not gonna not drink a Bud Light just because Caitlyn Jenner did a commercial. I'll drink a Bud Light.
Yeah. Wow.
Because I know this.
I never
person.
thought about that, but yeah.
Or like who's the other chick? The Fox. She's the black trans woman who's been in a few movies and like shows.
Well, I know there's a trans person on Pose, that show on Netflix, and that's a really good show. So they could have bragged anybody.
The point is, they could have gotten like Buck Angel.
Yeah,
with
like a really
with
big,
his beard and
point.
shit. And
yeah. Oh yeah.
He could have done a TikTok thing with it, and like some like little cute little line or some shit like that. And people would have been like, because the reaction would be like, it'd be so like, it'd be reactionary in the moment. It wouldn't be like 3 days later. That was absurd.
Yeah.
But like no one's gonna be like, God damn it, why was Caitlyn in that commercial? And because then people are gonna look at you and be like, why are you so pissed off Caitlyn did it?
Yeah, relax.
It's like, she was on the cover of Vanity Fair. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
It's not gonna have that like the reason to like grab onto it and hold it.
No, I get that. Yeah, and that's
instead they got someone famous on TikTok.
That's interesting. But
and most of her subscribers are like hate watching.
Damn. But they probably were afraid to do that, or made a calculation to not do that, because it would have been more expensive for them on their end. Because you're talking about someone who's already in the industry, probably wants a certain amount of royalties or a certain amount of money up front.
That would probably be it, because it wasn't like a commercial. It was just like a...
Yeah, I know they put it...
Like a quick advertise. I don't even know what you would call it.
Yeah. It probably, yeah.
Because she did, like, it was
way
like, she did
I know
like
she had the thing in the pool, in her bath, and she had all the stats.
I didn't really saw that one. I only saw the commemorative can thing, and then I saw a little bit of the other one, and I was like, I don't even watch the rest of it.
I saw people talking about it, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't get the itch to watch the original content.
What is that?
I was like, okay. let me do something productive. But yeah, I think the overhead's probably not going to be as much, so they were like comfortable doing that. And they probably thought they would even reach more people.
Looking back, they probably it's a lot less.
Oh yeah. They're probably rethinking the things now. But like they probably thought that it was gonna reach more people too, because maybe they would thought that by picking a person who's viral, it's like it'll be cheaper for us, and then also we wouldn't have as much as much overhead. It'll be cheaper for us, but it will come across as more authentic. Because not just like, we're getting a big celebrity, big company, big celebrity. I see what they're doing. It's like, no. We're actually reaching out to the community, and we got somebody who's just a normal Joe like you. Yeah, drink some Bud Budweiser. Like, I'm sure, because it's not just the person, like, they're giving a lot of shit to the person who came up, the advertiser, the person who is head of the advertising team and the advertising team itself. But it's like, this went through a whole review process and was approved by the company itself.
No, it wasn't done through a review process.
You don't think that the person before that they slapped someone's
no high executive saw it.
Really?
You did not pay attention to any of this, did you?
No. I know what they say might have happened, but can't imagine a big company like Bud.
Do you think a high executive approved a 20-second TikTok?
I think so. I think that they were just like
no.
I don't know about the TikTok, but slapping the face on the cans, like the.
It was just a 6-pack.
I know, but that you can't. I don't know. Again, I don't know the inner workings of Bud.
You have any
company, but I highly doubt whether an someone who's in charge of advertising has the ability to make that kind of executive decision, because that's manufacturing.
Do you not know how things work?
I mean, I have a pretty firm grasp.
Yeah, but those type of people aren't handling day-to-day things.
Yeah, but
they're handling big picture. That's not a big picture. That's a momentary flash that nobody gives a shit about.
Yeah, but that momentary flash requires you to redirect either resources or the digital print in order to put on the can, and the approval process. I would imagine that goes through some kind of.
It's not that intricate.
I would imagine that it has to be. You don't just have people at the local stations just flying off the rail. I have an idea. All right, and then people just fucking do it.
It wasn't local.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Because it wasn't local.
What are you talking about?
Someone saw that. Someone looked at that and was like, "Great idea. Go do that."
No, the person who that did the video who talked about the inclusion. They approved it and it went through them.
Yeah.
No one above her saw it. That's what I'm saying. It's not like the board of directors. I want to make sure I know this 30-second TikTok.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't think that they're
everybody that's actually in charge of it didn't look at it.
Yeah. But I don't think that the board of directors, the CEO is combing through the minuscule details. I agree with that.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were getting at. I was that's why I said.
I don't think
that's why I said. Do you not know how this works?
No. I don't think that they're combing through that. But I'm saying that it's not like she made an idea. She had an idea and then just did this thing randomly. Like, this was a cohesive effort. There's a lot of moving parts, and a lot of people were like, "Yeah, great idea," and they went forward with it. That's what I'm saying.
No, I mean, all it takes is for her to have the idea, contact the person, okay it. Then she gets somebody to, hey, we need a design. We're going to have her face. We're just going to do a 6-pack and send it to her. Can you get that done? Yeah. Okay, got it. Let me know when it's good. It's a 5-minute it's a 5-minute thing.
Yeah, but the first part, getting someone to okay it. Maybe I'm underestimating
She's
her
not
place.
Getting anyone to okay it. She literally had the idea, has power, and said...
Maybe that's what I'm undermining. Maybe I'm not recognizing the level of power that this lady had.
She was the controller of their marketing.
Yeah, marketing, advertising. I didn't think that you would to be able to manipulate you would have to talk to the person in charge of
she maybe ran it by somebody. Hey, there's this influencer that we got. They're part of that whole LGBT thing. We're trying to get some inclusion on that. We're just gonna send them a commemorative can of 6-pack, and they're gonna do a TikTok with it. We're good on it. Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. She conferred with somebody.
She's not. But I'm saying they didn't know the details of it.
But they would have to put it on the can. You know what I'm saying? I don't.
No, but that could be the conversation. Hey, we're gonna put this person's face on a can. They're part of that whole trans thing, and they're gonna do a 20-second TikTok thing with it. It's all right.
Yeah, that all right. That confirmation.
Yeah, but they didn't look into it. There wasn't research done.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that there was research done. I'm saying that there was somebody, because and again, I don't know the inner works of advertisement at Bud, but I don't know. I don't think just because she's the in charge of advertisement,
people
that
who
she
have power
has,
make decisions on their own all the time.
Yeah, but I don't think she had the power to make the.
We
decision.
work at a job where people make decisions without consulting anyone.
No, but I'm saying that I don't think that but not in isolation, because they would have to confer with somebody, she would have to. She's not. I don't think that she has the power. She's not in charge of what goes on the can. Someone else was in charge of the print that goes on the can, and she had a conversation with that person.
So what is that person gonna do?
That person gonna be like, wait, but this is what's going on there, or is this? I don't.
You are putting
a good idea.
Way too much thought into his 6-pack.
Maybe, but
what are you?
I'm saying
that.
I'm saying that she conferred with at least one other person, and that one other person was like,
she didn't confer with anybody.
She would.
Why would you confer with someone that you're giving an order?
I don't think that the person who manufactures or puts the thing on the can, and again, I don't know, but I don't think. Again, I don't know, but I don't think that the person in charge of manufacturing or the digital print on the cans answers to the person head of advertising.
Somebody just tells you to do something, and then it just goes down the line and gets done.
Yeah. So if my boss,
how are you not?
Because I push back. If my boss tells me to do something, I'm like, that's out of pocket. I'm not gonna be like, yes sirree. No.
Yeah, then you get fired, and they're gonna tell you go fuck yourself.
I'm still employed. Go fuck themselves.
You would get fired.
Well,
that's not your job to have a fucking say.
But I do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
Why are you working for that company? Make your own company.
Well, that's why you should like and subscribe.
Robert.
No, but I think you.
Please don't be that arrogant prick.
No, I'm not. I'm not an arrogant prick.
You're an employee.
Yeah.
Do your fucking job.
I do.
That's not your job.
It doesn't. But it's
your job is to have ethics.
Wait. So doing your fucking job doesn't mean.
What is your job?
Wait. Doing your fucking job doesn't mean that you can't do anything else except for your fucking job. Yes. When you go in for an interview, hey, name a time that you went above and beyond this. My boss said this, I gave pushback, we had a conversation, we went this direction, this is the result. That's an example.
What are you talking about?
An interview process was an instance when somebody who's just an employee goes above and beyond.
This is manufacturing work. This is like working at a... Yeah, your job is to just fucking do it.
Yeah, so... That is your job. I haven't denied that. Wait. I haven't denied that. I did not.
Unethical.
I didn't say that is not their job. I didn't say.
So unethical.
Wait. Okay. One thing at a time. I didn't say that that's not their job. Number one. So number two, it being unethical. How is it being unethical?
You're pushing your own political thoughts in the workplace.
No.
In a job that does not require that.
No, but not a political.
Yes.
It's not a political thought.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. It's not a political thought to say, "Hey, is this good? Is this a good idea?"
That's not your job.
Again. I never said that it's not your job.
You're saying you would do it.
You're moving past. You're talking past what I'm saying. So number one, I didn't say that that you're doing your fucking job isn't that this person's not doing their job. All right. So this person's doing their job. Cool. So, but there's people who do more than just what's required of them at their job. Can we agree on that? Can we agree that so there's nobody in existence.
You think
wait. There's nobody in existence that does more at their job than what's asked of them at their job? That's what you're saying?
I can't have a conversation.
No.
I don't want to talk about this.
But is that what we're agreeing on? I just want to know where we diverge at.
Or we can go this route, Robert, where you start attacking.
I'm not attacking.
So people who put car doors on Ford vehicles
No. Let's be as general as possible. Do you think that there's anybody at a job?
Robert,
Yes,
you can't be. It's a manufacturer. What the fuck are you talking about?
So you think that there's no one in manufacturing? Okay, I'll get fucked. There's no one in manufacturing that does anything beyond what's asked of them to do.
within the field of manufacturing?
That's asked of them. That's their fucking job, quote unquote. Is there and
Robert,
wait. It's a yes or no question. It's a yes or no question. It's a yes or no question. It's yes or no. Yes or no. Yes or no. Is there anybody in the field of manufacturing that goes above what's asked of them?
To do marketing?
Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay. So that's where we diverge. That's all I wanted to know. That's all I wanted to know. That's all I wanted to know.
All right.
That's all I wanted to know. Now we've gotten there. Boom. It's not that
diverge?
hard.
You think
we just said it. We just
Stop
said
yelling.
it.
I'm not yelling.
Wait,
You're
we just said it.
You're fucking screaming.
Okay, I'm not unfucking screaming. So I mean, the fucking doesn't enhance the word. Yes, I was screaming. I'll stop. But you were talking past what I'm saying. You asked a question, I'm answering your question, then you're talking over me. You asked me where we diverged. I was like, we just talked about that. Okay. I was asking where we diverged at. That's why I was asking the question. Okay. So it's a yes or no. So if you said no, and I'm saying that's where we diverge, that means that I say yes to that question. That's where we diverge. Any other question?
So where are we going?
Wait. Any other question? Because that's where we are right now. I was like, I just want to know where we diverge at. That was my question. I was asking this just to understand where we diverge at. That's the place. Are there any other questions beyond that? Because I don't understand what the anger is coming from. I wanted to know the answer from where we diverge. We could have different ideas. None of us work at Bud. We don't work in manufacturing, so we don't know the intricacies of it. But I have one idea. You have another. That's cool. We could end the conversation there. Okay, but I just wanted to know where it was. There's no reason to be angry, and hell yeah, I'm going to scream if you try to talk over me.
Okay.
All right. Problem solved.
Because I just don't understand why you would think somebody whose job it is to just print something on a can would then give pushback on that direction.
I could answer that question and we could get into a conversation, but because of the point of where we diverge and seeing the anger that you have in that moment, I'm not sure if you want to understand where I'm coming from. Okay, so I think you're frustrated that I don't agree with you on that point, and I get the frustration because I think everybody wants to be understood, and it's not that I don't understand you. It's just that I think differently than you do on that point, and when it comes to the capacity of somebody in that position and how they operate.
So,
and I might be, like I said, from what I understand, I might be 100% wrong. That might be 100% their underling and have 100% no capacity to give pushback.
I don't understand why you would push back.
Because you don't think it's a good idea.
But why does that even matter?
Because you work at this company.
But it's not your job to determine whether that's a good idea or not.
But you could go above and beyond what's demanded of you, or beyond what your job is.
Okay. There's someone, like, what is that person supposed to say?
Like,
what are they going to do? Like, are they going to email an executive about how they think they're not doing a good job and then they just get fired?
No, you have to be tactful. Like the same way, like doctors nurses get pushback against doctors all the time.
Yeah, but it's fine. It's a couple minutes of work.
But
here's an image that's going to go
doctor
into a can. You might not even know what the image is.
A doctor would make a decision, and the nurse will give a pushback on what the decision is because there's a nurse who sees what the doctor's decision is. I'm saying that there's someone in manufacturing who knows what it is. Not everybody is a mindless drone. She didn't like draw up a thing and push it out there and it's automated through the manufacturing thing. There's someone that she had to talk to in order to make that thing happen. The TikTok video is something different, but putting it on the can, she had to talk to somebody to make that happen.
I get it, but
yeah.
The reason why I'm giving pushback is because they're in completely different fields.
Yeah. Okay. So within
you're having a marketing executive talking to like an engineer, and then the engineer's going to then tell the marketing executive, "I don't think that's a good idea." Like,
no, well,
you're
that.
in a practical mindset of like, I have directives and I get it done.
Yeah, but like the same way, like and
it's a 6-pack.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that for that person, for whatever reason, maybe like the reason you just said was just like, all right, well, I'm gonna do what my boss says or what the head of advertising says. It is what it is. They might have that mindset, but I'm just saying that she talked to at least one other person, and that one other person went forward with it. I'm not blaming that other person. I'm saying that other person also shares some kind of responsibility in that decision-making process, or complicit in that decision-making process. So it's not like her alone. Like, we're doing the pound of flesh thing and like trying like, oh, it's all her fault. It's like, yeah, but it's as much of the people who, or at least the person that made it happen to put it on the can, or at least complicit in it.
It's not their fault.
I'm not saying it's, again, the first thing I said is that I'm not blaming this person.
I would say it's her fault.
Again, I'm not blaming this person that she had to talk to. What I'm saying is that they share some of the responsibility. Like, instead of just being like, oh, you made a terrible decision, that was in a horrible direction, okay, go this way. Okay, she might have been at fault. She might have done that. We could exact the pound of flesh if we want to, but we also have to, like, if I was the CEO of Bud, I would be having conversations with advertising teams, but I would also have conversations with everybody else. Like, hey, if you see somebody, or if you disagree with something that somebody's saying, like, there's nothing wrong with having a conversation and making that happen if you think that it's not a good direction. Or if you think that this might be problematic.
I get that. But
so that's the perspective that I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it from a problem. I'm looking at it from a problem solving standpoint, as opposed to like
But that's not a problem.
Well, it is for them. They lost 17% of their sales.
No, you're not listening.
I am. You said it's not a problem. I was like, I think it is.
No. Can I?
You can do anything you want. You have the power.
Can I please finish my thought?
Yeah.
I don't like it when you close me off like that.
My bad. I was responding to
immediately and not letting me talk.
No, but I wasn't trying to stop you from talking. You said one thing, and I was responding to the one thing you said.
Yeah, and you're not letting me finish the thought.
No. I am.
It wasn't a problem.
I'm not impeding you from thinking.
Okay, just let me
say it. Wait. I'm not impeding you from thinking. I'm answering the one thing that you said. Now, you could not like it, and then so you could continue with your thought and then go back to address what I just said. Or we could talk about the thing that we just said, but I'm addressing the one thing that you said. I like going point by point because I think it makes for better conversation.
That's almost interrupting me.
But I don't know it's interrupting because you haven't.
I'm telling you
haven't. But in the moment, you didn't communicate that there's more there. You just made one point. I answered the one point.
Are you literally trying to tell me how you're not interrupting me when I was just? I'm literally telling you.
These circles?
Because
just shut the fuck up and let me say what I was gonna say.
But I can't. But so how long should I shut the fuck up? 10 seconds? 5 seconds? I don't know. There's no delineation. Wait, no. This is serious.
How would you like me to go about doing
No. I need you to acknowledge the fact. I need you to acknowledge that things are being seen from two different perspectives. From you, it's clear as day that I'm interrupting you because you have more to say, and I've spoken before you finish saying it. From my perspective, you made one point, and I answered the one point that you made. I'm not talking.
So Wait.
I'll explain it again. I'll explain it again. You said one thing. I responded to one thing. So you're looking at it from your perspective. Get outside your head for a second and look at it.
Robert, I just made a soft comment. Shut the fuck up and let me talk.
No, you shut the fuck up and listen and understand that there's other people in the room beyond you. You, from your perspective, it makes sense. From your perspective, it makes sense.
Why are you getting so angry?
I'm not angry. I'm just trying to get my point across. Okay, then chill out and listen. You want a conversation? You telling me to shut the fuck up? You gotta adhere to
casually saying it, Robert.
And I'm casually saying adhere to the same rules that you're asking me to adhere to.
Robert, I just said let me finish my point.
And all I said is you said that you. You said no. Because you said I interrupted you. I didn't interrupt you from my perspective. That's all I'm saying. From you, it's clear that I interrupted you. From my perspective, Robert, I didn't interrupt you. So you need to acknowledge that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Robert.
So again, I'm not stopping you from thinking. So don't look at it like an attack.
I'm not thinking you're attacking me.
You just said it.
You said
You said you're interrupting me. I'm not interrupting you.
I don't think that was attack.
Okay,
this seems a little bit too much right now.
You think I'm interrupting you. You think I'm interrupting you. I'm not interrupting you. From my perspective, it's not an interruption.
I was going to say...
Understandable. But wait, no. Before you go beyond that, I'm not.
I don't even remember what I said.
Okay, but let's iron this out because this is like rules of engagement. It's more important than the actual engagement.
I am literally trying to say.
Okay, regardless of what you're trying to say,
regardless
regardless of what you're trying to say, you think that I'm attacking you because
I didn't think you were attacking.
You said it. I can rewind. I can stop this and rewind. You said
this feels more like a little
interrupting.
Bit more no.
I'm using attacking and interrupting synonymously. You might look at differently.
Interrupting is completely different than attacking.
Okay, I'm not
even remotely.
I wasn't interrupting you. So my bad for making
interjecting.
Okay, I wasn't interjecting.
I was going to say.
Wait.
What did you say?
One thing I wasn't.
Can we go back to what we were talking about?
We can, but first we had to talk about this.
Because this doesn't matter anymore.
No, it does because this can dictate all other conversations. I am not interjecting. I'm not interjecting. Okay. I wasn't interrupting. You said one thing. I responded to the one thing
immediately. You didn't let me be able to get the words.
So the question is, how long would you like me to wait before I can say anything to what you said?
Robert.
Wait. How long do you?
Robert, why are you being so analytical? Whatever the word is, I can't.
But because these are fundamentals of like.
They're not.
It is conversation.
Conversations sometimes get messy, and sometimes people say things, and then some people.
But that's what I'm saying to you. So stop looking at it as me interrupting you, and start looking at it as.
Robert, I said it with a smile on my face.
That's fine.
I was just kind of busting your balls a little bit, and then you got.
I take things literally. I told you I take things literally. You know this about me.
I don't. But this is why I'm like. This is why I'm saying this feels attacking. I went like with like a mild like interrupted me, and then it went to this, and I'm like,
I'm not. But I just.
And then you got really angry, and then I'm like, just.
I didn't get really angry. You just fucking slammed the goddamn phone on the ground. I didn't slam nothing.
Your voice is starting to yell.
Yeah, because I'm just like, wait. You're saying one thing, and it's not true. That's my pushback is against the thing that's not true.
It was true.
No, not
let
from
me
my
fucking
perspective.
say the goddamn statement, and then it might
interpret
it.
But this is exactly why we have to talk about this thing.
Okay,
this is why this is the fundamental thing that we have to talk about. No. Because you see how it just happened again. It just happened again.
Now I'm angry.
Exactly. And you were angry before also. Robert. And the reason why I'm steamrolling you is because you need to acknowledge that sometimes the world isn't against you. Sometimes I'm not against you. Sometimes I'm not interrupting you.
Robert, it's because I literally told you that I didn't finish my statement, and then you went and said that I'm incorrect.
Which means
in your quick moment to find that I was incorrect, and you told me that I was incorrect, you didn't let me actually say my statement. So
you're
then
making
a premature assessment.
No, I'm not making a premature assumption. I'm making an assessment based off of what you just said. For you, I'm interrupting you, and it makes sense for you because you have more in your head that you wanted to say.
The statement that I was talking about,
I'm talking about the entire encounter. The entire encounter.
I don't care about the encounter. I care about my point.
Yeah, but in order to get to your point, we have to have a better way to communicate. So, like, you said something, and you had more to say. So, for you, it's clear that I was interrupting. I was stopping your train of thought.
No,
what I'm saying,
I didn't think that. I think
that's what you said. You said that you are stopping me from thinking. You are interrupting me.
And I also told you that it was a very casual, loose, ball-busting statement.
Yeah,
that had no real weight to it.
So now I'm busting your balls back with no weight. In the same capacity. Like, how is it you can't pick and choose what's ball busting and what's weightless if you're only going to be biased towards your own perspective.
What is ball busting right now?
You're busting my balls about interrupting. I'm busting your balls about me not knowing that I was interrupting you.
This is not ball busting.
Wait. But again, that's by your assessment.
Funny?
By your
this is
entertainment.
This was supposed to be
like and subscribe.
This is supposed to be the jokes.
But I'm just trying to get to the point of like.
I just want to get back to what we were talking about.
You can get there, but I'm saying
what were we even talking about?
The Budweiser thing, the marketing and like the person being held accountable.
What did I say?
You were we were talking in the realm of I like where we diverged, and we diverged because
we didn't diverge. I didn't get to finish my thought.
The point. No. The point that we diverged at was when you thought that the manufacturer just has to adhere.
No, it's something about it didn't work.
I don't recall anything.
You said it it didn't work, and then I said,
because we're going down the offshoot of the point that we diverged.
You were talking about. You were talking about.
Where we arrived at.
No, you were talking about the decisions of how things got processed.
Yeah.
And then you said it didn't work, and then I said no to that, and then you said, and that's when you came in and you said, "What do you mean? Of course it didn't work." And then we went.
I remember. Yeah. Okay, I remember
So,
that. Yeah, because I'm looking at it from the CEO problem solving perspective.
But what I was saying is that I was saying no to that at the point of when the decisions were being made.
What do you mean?
Meaning, in retrospect,
yeah,
it obviously did not work.
Right. But in the moment, you
might have
really
destroyed
know.
their entire brand.
Yeah. It's a problem. Well, for sure. No, but
so what I'm saying is, with the decisions in which they're being made, people aren't. There wasn't somebody oversighting it, so it was just actions being done and made.
Okay.
Which means in the point of time when this was going on, they weren't in a position to know if it was
what the effect was going to be.
It was or didn't work.
And that's why I wouldn't hold the person like the person that she talked to make the print happen on the can, or I wouldn't hold him responsible because he couldn't know what the effects are going to be. So he can't be held responsible for the effects that laid afterwards because his job is just to execute whatever task he's given. So I'm not saying to hold him responsible in terms of, hey, you have part to blame in this too. You need to go on leave or you need to get fired or whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that in the moment when the decision was made, she talked to somebody, at least one other person, to make this happen, and that one other person didn't see anything wrong with that decision. And from a CEO standpoint, I could see myself stepping in and being like, hey, anytime someone makes a decision that you think might not work out the best for us, even though it's not in your job description, it's okay to have that dialogue. It's okay to have that discussion. That's the only point. So, because I was going back to the point where we diverged, at where it's like, do you think a manufacturer, like the person, the head of manufacturing, for example, would adhere? And it's entirely possible that it would. Like the advertising, the print on the can is an advertisement, so it fits within the line. Like maybe that's his boss or her boss. Who knows? But I'm just saying, like, in order to alleviate this problem, stop stuff like this from happening in the future, or if I'm in any other company that has anything to do with manufacturing or can even touch on something that compares to this, I would be having these discussions with my team. I'd be like, hey guys, listen, sometimes we're gonna go in some directions. We're taking shots in the dark. We don't know how it's always gonna turn out. Sometimes it's gonna really suck. Sometimes we're gonna strike gold. I want everybody to play an active role in participating in the conversation. If you think that a decision was made that you don't think is gonna come out well for us.
I think that's more of a small business mindset.
Yeah.
Because when you get
at you're right.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I don't have any purview when it comes to a successful big business. So I don't know.
In a small business, it could still be make like millions of dollars.
Yeah, well, I don't have any successful. So what the fuck do I?
I think you're putting too much faith into what that. At these levels, there's just like you're just doing it.
Yeah, but I think that's something that's what's messed up about it, though. I would
that's just like human beings.
Yeah, but like if
you do the same thing,
if I had a big successful thing,
no. I'm saying if you're a worker and there is some directive that is going to take you 10 minutes to do, you're just going to do it. You're not going to give a shit because you have so many other things in your day that you have to do that the 10 minutes.
But not if I think it's wrong. If I think it's wrong, I give pushback.
My point is like I'm looking at it from your average course of the day work, and then something comes in, and it's like, hey Robert, we need you to just get this image print on one of these on this 6-pack, and you're just like, okay, yeah, I'll do it, and then can I go on lunch after I'm doing that? I'm gonna go like so and so. They're like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Like,
is
it's like
in the course of the day, you're not thinking like that.
Yeah. No, there's some things that it's just like, I don't think about it in that capacity. But when it comes to like,
maybe if you were the person that she was directly talking to,
that's what I'm talking about. Okay. The at least one person who put that into action. That's what I'm talking about.
Because that's why I was like the guy printing.
No, yeah, the guy working on the fucking line or whatever. Like, you don't know.
That's my point. I'm talking about there's no way he ever says
I'm talking about the one, at least one other person
that she first called.
Yeah, exactly, to make it happen. That's the conversation.
Also, he probably didn't even ask.
Yeah, which is fair because he's like, again, it's not in his purview. So it's like
everybody was just
technically him.
Everybody was just like, it's all on her because she's the one that wanted to do it and pick the person.
Yeah,
and then instead of consulting with everyone, they were just like, I need to have this done, and everybody was just like, good.
I think that's the benefit that small businesses have over big businesses. Where like
that's how they're able to grow because there's people doing that. Where
exactly.
Everyone's like, well, hey, is this the best option? Because we're all about to go broke.
I don't think that big business. Like, I think that a small business should aspire to be big, but I don't think that the characteristic of that big business should be implemented into that. Like, I don't think that a small business
too big that you just don't have the ability to give a shit, and then everyone just kind of falls in line into their places.
Yeah, and I think that's dangerous. I think you should have people.
Of course, it is. That's why companies collapse.
Yeah. So I mean, I think you should have a team in place that is able to have honest and fierce,
or at least a review board, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Like or just like regular employees. Like, yeah, this isn't your job, but this relates to your job, relates to the thing. It's going to relate to the sales and the image of the company overall. I want you to give a shit.
Or you have an agreement that like at least one person, if they get brought something, there's one person that has to say, well, where is this bad?
Yeah. So I mean,
where's the risk?
I mean, like you could. I mean, like you could have like another like
nobody asked what the risk was.
Yeah. I mean, like you would. I mean, it's probably because if she's the head of advertising, I would imagine like
not anymore.
I would imagine that her team. Well, I don't think she walked away a leave of absence, but yeah,
I don't think she's technically fired. Right?
Yeah, she took a leave of absence. I think it is, and then so did the person who hired her. I think some heads were rolling, but or walking, leaving, but I think if you have another like a person who has to approve all decisions, it slows down the decision making process. So I understand not wanting that lethargic aspect to your company, and I'm not even recommending that. I'm just saying, like in a small business, for example, they don't have like X amount of people who oversee everything because they can't afford it. It's just like you and the 3 other people are sitting in the room with you. So everybody has to wear so many hats. Everything's so interconnected, and everybody cares so much because everyone has an invested interest in the trajectory of where things.
They have the ability to question things.
Yeah, and I think that the bigger that you like, even if you have a big company, like you should still have that matrix at the top level. On the top levels, you should have that matrix in place, to operate the same way. Because just because you're a small business and like it's harder to do, and it's more work. But I think that's way more necessary and important, and then at least like if someone falls, it's like instead of getting rid of this one guy, it's like, all right, we fucked up. That was a bad decision on our part. How can we bounce back and make better decisions? How can we turn this around? How can we make the next move? And it's like, but instead, it's like it's so. Every component seems so disassociated with the other.
It's just because it's so big.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be. I'm saying that attribute doesn't
also
have to be
different
ascribed
brands.
To a big. Yeah. You were telling me.
It's Budlight, Budweiser, Stella.
Yeah.
So, Budlight Platinum, Budlight Lime.
Yeah. I think that's the one I tried. I was like, oh, this is decent. I like this.
The Budlight Lime's actually not bad.
But But yeah, like I like that small business thing. And I haven't been in a big business, so I don't at the top level, so I don't know what that looks like. But I would imagine that type of dynamic is lost because, like you said, it just got too big.
Well,
and instead of valuing
now
it,
these all different departments. So like,
Yeah.
of what you're thinking of is like maybe a more traditional doesn't sound right, but more simplistic way where like, okay, this person's doing the advertising, this person's like part of logistics and like manufacturing, and then this person is like, you know, distribution or whatever, and then there's like a couple big guys, and then they all can communicate with each other. Whereas like it's now like, well, now marketing has like social media marketing, advertising, social media advertising. Then there's figureheads over that. Like there's all these different things in place where like they're not always having things going up and down. It'd be like, okay, well we want to get in. They'll have like a meeting about wanting to get more into TikTok influencing. So then it'd be like, okay, that sounds great. We're going to get some of the top TikTokers. Is there any type of demographics we want to go after? Check. And then they just go and then they just do that. So it's such a simplistic way that's how things fall through the cracks.
Yeah. I was just like, I remember I worked at a big place, big company, but I was like, not in the upper level, but like we would have weekly calls, and it's all relating around numbers. Like, oh, your numbers with this last year, how come this, blah blah blah, or oh wow, you did a really good really good numbers this month. Like I see your store is going up, blah 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 blah. So I was like, all right, cool, and like we have that interaction, but it's such a basic, lazy analysis of what's going on, and it's like, and versus like there was another company I worked at, which was like a lot more small business, and it was like we just lost a big contract with NV Ryan Homes, and it's like, and they got the salespeople together, like, all right, this sucks, numbers are gonna plummet, this is bad, we have to make these numbers blah 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 compared to what we did last year, just to make sure that we keep the company afloat. And we're just like, oh well, we lost this big contract. The numbers aren't even comparable to last year's, blah, blah, blah. I know that, I understand that, it sucks. That's why I got you guys in a room. We're going to strategize different ways to try to get out there and make this thing and try to find a way to make those numbers despite this happening. It's like, there's a lot more, I don't know the word for it. I'm not smart enough to figure it out. But like people coming together and trying to figure out how to solve the problem. Like I don't know if that's happening on the big corporate level, because not because they can't do it, but because they're only focused. They're so big and they're only looking at like lazy raw data, and that because the way that this lady you heard her when she was talking about
her little interview.
Yeah, like there's such a lazy analysis
before,
of what,
right?
Yeah. I don't know.
It was just something that got grabbed from the internet because they were like, who
is this chick? Yeah.
Who's responsible?
Yeah. It's just like, it was such a lazy, like, oh well, I was brought into up sales.
I wouldn't say lazy. I would say more like an ego thing.
Yeah.
It was. Well, I have an opinion.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's I have an opinion, and my opinion is what matters.
Yeah.
It's like, isn't a marketing director supposed to like not individualize their views onto their product?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, I could get it
like,
from
like the makeup line of being like, you know what, we're gonna make a push to only market to men.
Yeah.
For the next 6 months, it's like, don't you think we might alienate the women?
It just reminded me of when I was working at that bigger company on the low level, where it's like, oh wait, so you're only looking at numbers. Like, you're not thinking about retaining the customer base to the same numbers that you did. You're only thinking about growing. You're thinking like on a simple.
You mean she's trying to see what's ways that they can make more money with the assumption that their bottom line would go unchanged.
Yeah, and I'm saying that is
that's
such,
actually probably more accurate.
Yeah, and it's such a simplistic way of looking at things, and I'm like,
every action you have has potential consequences, whether positive or negative.
Yeah, and I think small organizations understand that significantly more because percentage-wise, it's so much more impactful.
It's like Colin Kaepernick and Nike.
Yeah.
Like, however much people wanted to boycott that, like Nike came out on top on that deal. They made a lot of money.
Yeah. So it just, I think that, again, like the big companies have the capacity to do that, to care that much, and to have people in place to operate in that way. But for whatever reason, in this case, it doesn't look like Bud did. I can't speak for all the big companies. It just reminded me of those, like, the lazy phone calls, like, oh yeah, your numbers are this compared to last month. It's like, yeah, because last month was summertime. There's more kids out, so yeah, more kids are gonna come to the bowling alley than when it's September, or like it's of course, duh. But it's like they're using that as like a lazy way to just kind of push you to try to up your numbers, and they like pat themselves on the back after the phone call, like, yeah, now I properly motivated them as the district manager. It's like, no, man, like you're not as smart as you think you are. And like from that interview, that's what I was hearing. Like she had like this ego, and this assertion of like, oh, my ideas are right, and like, yeah, you made it to like a big company, you're making big money, and they hire you to do big things, but that doesn't mean that your input doesn't need to be checked. And I just, in this instance, I didn't get any feel that she gave a fuck about any of that. It's just like, oh, well, I was hired for this. Like, yeah, advertising, that's your job.
She didn't take the time to think if there would be blowback and how much blowback would there be.
Yeah. And like, I understand there's like an endless amount of stuff to think about and from a bunch of different ways, but that's why there's teams to play. Like, that's why, like, it's better when you have multiple people working on the thing. So it's like you can get more accomplished. You could look at things from more perspectives, and from like as an advertisement, like, you need to know that more than anybody. Like, you should understand that more than anybody.
Yeah.
And especially coming from like and that's why I'm so disappointed. Like, I'm like, yo, this chick's is Harvard educated, like Ivy League, like,
I already told you that's the problem.
Yeah, I'm dumbfounded. Like, there's like, what did you spend all that time in school doing? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I'm just so impressed. Like, that there's such a lazy or simple, I should say, just a simple way to look at things. It's like, you're not even thinking about any other possibility of something happening. You don't have any.
No, it wasn't simple. I think it was just ego.
Yeah, it
was an overinflated opinion of what she thinks people.
Yeah, gonna react. So
what way to know your market?
Just fucking wow. So sad day for Bud. Darker days ahead, it looks like. And her taking a leave of absence or like even being fired is just, I don't think it's gonna look as.
Well, that was like a week ago. I think, right?
Yeah, it's been some time.
Yeah, their sales are still like.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't think they're dropping. They're just stagnant.
Yeah.
So from whatever their drop was, that remains. Well, I guess that means they're going to continue to then lose money.
Yeah, I think logistically,
because their projections are going to be off, and then they're not going to be shipping as much as they were. So.
Yeah. So I'm for their sake, I hope there's somebody with a little bit more complex thought than.
Well, no, because they came out with that other commercial.
The commercial with the horse. Yeah, I was like, okay.
That was the weirdest. It looked like a joke.
I thought it was a me. I thought it was like, oh, haha. Like,
it's like remember the soap commercials.
The soap commercials.
Those like the Sasquatch soap commercials.
Oh,
like you see on like
yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah,
it was like that, where it's like, oh, it's gonna be real, but it's like not. And it's like a guy with like eagles as hands.
Yeah, that was weird.
It's like, because you're a man. A man deserves to smell beautiful.
Yeah.
He's got like a beaver on his chest.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, Miller Lite it is. El Presidente. Or if you sponsor it,
I need to find a Presidente.
Yeah, Miller.
That's difficult to find.
Yeah, there's some stores that
Well, I mean, like I don't really go to like big beer spots.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's at like beer and wine.
Yeah. But that whole just trying to invoke. I mean, trying to invoke a strong emotional response in order to get the job done is just a fucked up way of doing business. In general.
I don't think that's what they were doing.
I think so because they're not trying to sell it. I mean, by trying to pander to this trans.
I don't think they were trying to pander. I don't think she was pandering. I think she was genuine. That's why I'm saying
maybe I'm using the word wrong then. Maybe I'm using the wrong word. I mean, like I'm not saying like I don't think she's trying to like deceive people.
Yeah, I think she genuinely was like, "This is good."
Yeah, I think she's like, "Oh, this is a good." Like people will.
She didn't
see
think
this.
it was bad. She wasn't like trying to destroy it.
Yeah.
At least I don't hope not.
yeah. No, I think she was just like, "Oh, this is gonna look good. People are gonna see it and be like, oh wow,
We're gonna be
like
inclusive."
this." Yeah, and do that. Like, I don't think that there's like what I mean by deceitful. I don't think it's like she was like trying to like, yeah, I'm gonna sway
Swindle.
these people. Yeah.
I'm gonna swindle these.
Yeah. I think it was more so like oh well, I'm just gonna showcase that this is where we stand, and then everybody's just gonna go forward, chase the image, as opposed to.
What's that? Sorry, what's that? The equity, social equity score. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Like companies have that diversity, inclusion, or social equity score
like
in order to
something, and it's like some organization that like grades them.
Yeah, and that's like dictates like funders and I don't know what that number is. I'm not familiar, but yeah, I think she was trying to. This was like a great way to increase that score. But you know, if she what I mean by when I say pandering, it's like the deceptive part that I'm talking about is like, well, she doesn't really care about she was focused on trying to sell more beers, and she thought this was the way to sell more beers because she's
trendy.
Yeah, because like if she really cared about the community and she really was like, well, what can I do from this position to do the best thing for the community? Yeah. Be like, okay, we could dump all the money that goes into.
It was more of a surface level way of doing it instead of someone who
That's what I mean by
cared.
simple or lazy.
Because if you cared, you would have been like, this isn't the person
to
do.
Yeah, I'm just like, commit this money towards
like,
this transgender group.
Blair White
that are
wearing a MAGA hat.
Wow. In hindsight, if they wanted to get someone who's trans, that's
what I was saying. Like there's Blair White, fucking Caitlyn Jenner ran as a Republican.
Yeah, you're right. So it's like,
and not even the conservative angle. There's just so many other trans people that
just a lot more.
Or, oh God, is it Ethan Page now? Remember the Juno?
And
Juno.
I haven't seen Juno, but I know who you're talking about. She's in Inception. Oh shit.
I think it's Ethan Page.
I think so. Yeah.
I think that's what his name is now. But like,
yeah.
That's a celebrity.
Yeah, you're right, man.
They've been in like shows. In movies.
They're just trying to save on that overhead cost. Come up with a simple thing and not really care about the community. I'm just like, you lose on 3 marks for me. Like I don't think this is that's fine. Like I hope that they for their sake, I hope that they have either that people are too lazy to keep committing to this move, or that they have someone with.
Well, I don't think it's like I said. I don't think it's that dedication. It's just like
the community.
It's just like I'll just drink Miller.
Yeah.
And then all you have to do if you're like drinking that is just like, well, Miller's okay, and then you just like once you do it a second or third time, then it's just, well, I'm just, instead of grabbing the blue box, I'm going to grab the white box.
I'm committed to this habit now. Well, it's like, I'm a kid, acquired taste. My friend into it.
Because the people who drink that shit, it's either you're going to have a barbecue.
Yeah.
And you need like
a quick,
one or two cases of beer.
Pack. Yeah.
Or you're a drinker and you're drinking it daily.
I want this 24 pack. It's Friday.
Either way, you're getting a 20. Yeah, but you're getting.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Or you're going to a happy hour and you're like, oh, they got the Budlight for $3.
Yeah, I agree. So, oh well. Down goes the ship. Titanic sunk, so why not Bud?
Why not us?
This is some aspiration.
Vice just filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I still.
They were once valued at $5 billion.
They were great. They were doing phenomenal stuff. I remember when they went into I don't remember what was happening.
Like Yugoslavia.
Yeah. I was about to say
that
Russia.
wasn't even a country then.
Yeah, I think it was. No, they went into Russia when during the whole Georgia thing.
I think they went to Ukraine during the Civil War, didn't they?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody.
But they were doing really dicey, really divisive shit. I was like,
I think they did a cartel thing, didn't they?
Yeah. They did a cartel
thing. Into the cartel.
Yeah. So that was. They've done some really in-depth, interesting reporting, and some of the stuff they're doing is still pretty interesting, but it's nowhere as close to as I guess maybe the shock factor is lost, but it's they have a clear political leaning now, which may or may not have contributed to their downfall, or may or may not have contributed to their quality reporting and journalistic integrity, but. Yeah, that looked pretty painful. I was like, ooh. I mean, I still see them posting stuff every now and then. I was like, oh, okay. And there's some stuff I was like, oh, this is interesting. But yeah, it's a far cry from what they used to.
I remember there was a show they called Bon Appetit.
Really?
And it was, the concept was everything was going to be weed infused. Whether it was going to be the cooking oil, every aspect of it, either the wine might have weed, or they're going to have bread, but it's got hemp butter.
Hemp oil. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's everything had to have some type of thing, and then they would also smoke, and then they would talk about the thing. But the guy that was doing the show was just a piece of shit godhead. Not a cool one where it's oh my god, that's fucking wild. I did do this and da-da-da-da and add things. It was just oh man, this is fucking crazy. We're gonna get really high. This is gonna be great.
Yeah.
Love this experience, everybody. And it's oh, you're just some wasted loser.
Yeah, I just
But I liked the show because I was oh wow, this is really
interesting. Yeah. It's
and then after after a couple episodes, I was I can't watch this anymore.
Oh shit.
I hate this guy.
Yeah,
because he added nothing. The guest, he'd be a guest. That was the thing, or maybe a celebrity. They were more interesting than the host because it was they would actually be asking questions. Wow, so how does this? And then he's just well, we're gonna get high.
I was about to say, I was oh, you want your guests to be interesting. And I was oh no, they were asking questions. I was oh.
And then his eyes were always half down.
I just don't get it. I was just talking to somebody
and I was why didn't you get somebody like Snoop Dogg? Who even though he smokes all the time, guess what? He doesn't
super productive.
He doesn't seem like a fucking idiot when he talks.
Yeah, and that's not
it's quick.
Yeah. And he fits in everywhere, and it's doing
well, just
all
some people
things,
just some people it's just drinking.
Yeah.
There's some people that can have
they
can have 10 light beers and be there and talking and funny, maybe slur a little bit, but it's a good time. And then there are other people where it's 2-3 shots and it's why is it so loud in here? It's I think it's just you.
I remember there's this one. I used to go out Thursday, Friday nights, and there was this one chick who was just she was from Miami, and she was always why is everybody always judging me?
For a second, I thought you said she shoots from Miami.
No.
You're hanging out with a shooter.
Yeah, no. But like she was just like, and she was beautiful and she was real cool when she was sober. But when she get drunk, like she's just like, oh, my friends in Miami are so cool, and I miss them. Everyone's always judging me here, and we're just all like, no one's judging you. We're going out. We're gonna have it. We're just having some drinks. We're having fun. Like now you're killing the vibe. Like what are you doing? And she just like, kept on, just going like it was like a broken record. And it's like I was kind of like, oh no, it's okay. Like no one's judging. It's okay. Blah blah. Let's go out. Let's go dance.
Internalizing some
And she just
shit.
it was so rampant. Like it came to a point where we were just like, guys, we have to leave. We just
because now it's not a fun night.
Yeah, let's go. And it was bad. It's like, and then it was like some people just like have other shit that they're dealing with, and it's just it just comes out when they drink. And they're not dealing with their shit, so it's and I'm sure that's true with all kind of drugs. Like those they did a test, a control study when they were comparing like water laced with heroin versus regular water, and then it's like they kept going to the heroin, laced with heroin, like mice, yeah. People just like, yo, Dasani's on it, yo. Oh my god. I don't understand why everyone's pretty good with Fiji. No, but then they like did other tests where like they put sugar water, and then they have one where they have like the same setup, but then they have all these other mice in there, and then all the other attractions and stuff to do, and they would just drink regular water because they're just like, well, I'm fine. They don't have that. Maybe people assume it's like a loneliness factor, or like, oh, I don't know, or like not dealing with their shit, or like they're depressed and they can't do anything else. Like, oh, I want to feel good, but it's like, oh, well, if they have all the activities to feel good and you know, bump buggies and all that crazy mice shit, they're like, oh, regular water does it for me. Yeah, so yeah, there's probably something there. I hate when people like, I mean, go into drugs some other time.
Oh, you mean you don't want to talk about the professor?
Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Let's talk about it because we already mentioned the crack thing the other day, so let's do it. Let's go. It's just there's so much shit.
Oh, we haven't talked about that.
No. It was off camera. So it's just like, oh man, no, man. That's gonna be a whole other recording to itself. Like that's gonna be committed.
Is it him or is it their conversation?
Oh yeah, I mean both. That conversation was terrible, but yeah, him like in general
think
was
that
like,
he was like 100% right.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. Well, yeah, we'll touch on that later. But like, we were talking media, Vice, and then you know Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson, the guy fired. Yeah, so that
I haven't been paying attention to the Tucker thing.
I don't know.
Because I know there's stuff coming out about like why they wanted to drop him, and I think it had something to do with Murdoch.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I think Murdoch's wife. Like everyone, this is all hearsay. Nobody really knows. Everyone's just speculating. Yeah, like no one really understands. But like everybody's just like is covering this so much, and I mean, Don Lemon just kind of disappeared because I think there's Don Lemon.
Maybe you'll go back to telling black people to pull up their pants.
Yeah, I don't know. But
that is such a wild segment.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that all the same
back
person.
at it. Stop saying the N-word.
Yeah, like wow.
It's not cool. It's not funny. You're a loser. Like.
Yeah, that was like, wow, Don Lemon.
Pull up your pants.
Yeah. Great messaging.
He sounded worse than Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Because this whole thing is Bill's not going far enough.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, black whippersnappers. When was it long ago? Wasn't it like 2011 or something?
Yeah, he's been wild for a while. Yeah, I don't. But yeah, that's crazy. And then we could go into there's so much stuff. We could go into the whole Uncle Tom thing that you sent me the commercial.
Have you seen the first one?
No, I haven't seen it. So. But wait, first I want to stick on this.
Okay, yeah, I won't let you lose track.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson thing, where it's like I hear now I'm seeing all these stories, but yeah, it's all speculation. It was Murdoch's, one of them was Murdoch's wife was like really loved Tucker Carlson, like, oh, he's so great and so amazing, and maybe Murdoch was jealous of that, or maybe it was like some texts that or emails that Tucker was saying that was divested in the Dominion here Dominion case.
Uh-huh.
And so maybe it's that. Maybe it's because people are speculating that. I seriously doubt that, because it's like, because if it wasn't divested, I mean, if it was divested in the hearing, and they've been able to keep it hush hush now, I doubt whether they're gonna people are just discovering this, so they're like, oh, that's why he got fired. It's like, no, well, that dialogue has happened way before the Dominion case, so we were gonna get fired for that. That would have happened a long time ago. So I don't think it's that. I don't think it's because Murdoch's jealous, but who knows? I don't know the guy. And
it seemed just very weird for them to do it, but I mean, I'm assuming that there's a valid reason.
Yeah, I don't know. There's probably something bubbling below the scenes. Maybe
that
something that he
Dominion
wanted
thing
to do.
was wild.
Yeah, but I don't even think it's the. I mean, they could. I was looking some stuff up, and technically they could write it off as a legal expense. So they could get subsidized by taxes. So we're gonna pretty much be paying for the whole thing. They're like, oh wow, Fox took this really big hit. It's like, no, we just did. Fuck. But
it's all part of the plan.
Ass fucks, fucking big ass corporations, their lazy ass Bud analysis and tax cuts. Start fucking companies just to say I have one, write shit off. I mean, it's like, but who knows what it is? But there's a lot of stuff going on with Tucker Patrick Bet David was offered him like
$100 million, right?
Yeah, $100 million for 5 years. I was like, damn. So I don't think he's gonna go away. Either he's gonna take that, or he's gonna do something else on his own.
He's too big of a figurehead.
Yeah. And then there was we're just gonna rifle through all this fucking shit. There's the writer's strike in Hollywood. I mean, that's all I got to say about the Tucker thing. Like, I don't know what's happening.
I mean, he's gonna be fine, and Lemon's not gonna be fine.
Yeah. That's essentially what it looks like. But who knows? Like, at the end of the day, I don't even care. Oh, but the big thing I wanted to say is that with Tucker is that that's a whole. I couldn't get the clips for anything yet, but that would have been funny. But the whole thing with Tucker was like he was fighting back against whatchamacallit, against like what the sponsors wanted. Like, there was one time where they told him to wear a sweater, and he didn't want to wear a sweater and stuff like that. He wanted to say certain things, he couldn't say certain things. So it's like, man, even if you make
maybe he was having just a lot of butting heads with them, and then they just decided to split ways.
It might have been a mutual thing, so I don't know. Or maybe not. Maybe it's like he wanted to leave eventually, or he wanted them to change, and he kept challenging the powers that be, like that. That person working in manufacturing who argues against the advertisers. Hey, maybe that is the wrong move. If Tucker gets fired for that, maybe I'm the wrong person to advertise for it.
He could have maybe be like kind of flexing his muscle a bit, and then maybe they were trying to prove a point that, like, it's not you, it's the network. And
yeah,
I don't know.
So who knows? No one really knows, but it's getting way more coverage than I think it needs to have. And I think it just comes from because people just have really strong feelings about Tucker one way or another, and they're just trying to paint him in those lights, like, based off of how they feel. Oh. And it's because, like, that kind of simple mindset is exactly why people at Bud, I keep saying Bud because I don't know if I say Bud Light. I'm used to saying Bud Light, but Budweiser, or the company that owns them.
I believe that Bud Light has some type of structure, but the Anheuser-Busch would be the ones that are really overseeing it.
Yeah. So I think that kind of the simple mindset that people have is exactly why they make companies like Anheuser-Busch make the decisions that they make, and think that they're gonna come out on top, because they think that people are just that stupid, that simple, that emotionally driven, and we can't put aside how we feel about a moment or a person or an issue to really look into the details and figure out what's what. And so it's just everyone's blaming mainstream media for all this stuff, but then now everybody is talking about this whole mainstream media thing, which is like, oh well, a company fired an employee. How the fuck did that have anything to do with it? There's so much shit going on. Like, why the fuck are we spending so much time playing hearsay when we don't know anything?
It's just views because he's a big figure.
Yeah.
That's what everything is now. It's views. It's not actual about whether or not it has any value.
Maybe we should take a...
It's all about click.
Yeah.
Little clicks.
Yeah. Maybe we're doing it wrong.
Clips.
Yeah. Maybe we're doing it wrong. You know, maybe we
well, that's one I want to get into. Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah.
The one you underlined? Oh,
shit, is it underlined? Oh, no.
That's right. It's because your cursor was there.
But yeah,
I thought you underlined it.
Yeah, this is no particular order. There's just so much stuff to go through. Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah, and it's along the same vein. You want to set it up or just like lay out what's going on with...
with Mr. Steven Crowder.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah, well...
Because did you hear about the comedian that was his co-host, kind of?
That I didn't hear about, no.
So that's what started all of this.
Oh. Was it like another Schwab?
Well, no, I guess what started it was the Daily Wire thing.
Right. I play that out for me, because I really didn't understand or go into the details of what was going on there.
I think they had a potential say in his show. Or I don't know what it was.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, well, he turns out to be like a nut job, so I don't even trust what I'm hearing. So now it doesn't even matter. So anything that you thought about it one way or the other, it's now like all up in the air, and you
don't
can't
know
trust
what's really
you
what.
can't trust what he says because he's a psycho.
Well, the only the only thing that I knew. Oh, go ahead.
A couple weeks ago, I don't know if you've seen the show. I mean, I haven't watched the show in a minute, but it's God, I always forget his last name. It's like Dave Lagana or Lagira or something like that.
Okay.
I could be completely off. I know his first name's Dave.
Yeah.
Anthony Cumia, you know him from like Opie and Anthony.
Oh yeah.
Anthony Cumia has his own little small show that he does. I mean, it's not that big, but I mean, it gets every now and then it'll have like 150 or 250,000 views or something like that.
Way more than 10, but hey, be 11.
But I think he also has like the paywalls and stuff like that. So, and he has his own network, and he
consistent thing. Yeah. He's nice. He's sitting comfy.
He's not hurting.
Yeah.
So Dave used to be his backup guy.
Okay.
Like, he would be his main. He would be his main guy that's there.
Okay.
Because he was a comedian, so he would do touring, but more often than not, he was going to be his co-host with the show.
Yeah.
He then, I think, fairly abruptly left that show because Crowder needed a comedian or wanted a comedian on there and wanted him because he's doing the conservative angle.
Yeah.
Or he is a fairly conservative comedian, I think.
Okay.
So he brought him on.
Yeah.
And then he had I think he was working without a contract with him and was refusing to sign the contract and then separated and then left.
Okay.
And then I don't think any bad things were said, but then after maybe a couple weeks or a month, he then got interviewed by Michael Malice. Do you know him?
Yeah.
So he gets
I like Malice. Yeah, interesting perspective.
So he gets interviewed by him to be like, hey, so what happened with you guys? Because obviously people are gonna be like, you were on the show for 2 or 3 years. What
what's up?
Why are you gone?
Yeah.
Probably expecting a more I wanted to do more road gigs.
Okay.
It's not the case.
Oh.
He wanted So Crowder went with him. He wanted to film his special. Okay. Told Crowder about it, and Crowder said, "Hey, like, can I open for you? Because he'll do his little comedy stuff." Yeah. He said, "Can I open for you?" And I think he also helped promote it so that they could sell out the theater of like 5,000 seats or whatever the fuck it was. Yeah. And then he'd be like, "Yeah, you can open for me," and everything. Cool. And then afterwards, he then claimed rights over his special, like the.
Oh, that's fucking sleazy.
He also. He also put in a clause in the contract that he wanted to sign that if he was 5 minutes late, he would not get he could not come in and would not be paid for like that day's work. Wow. I think he had to work I want to say 5 days a week, so Monday through Friday. Wow. And as a stand-up comedian, you're telling him that he can't work Thursday, Friday.
Wow.
Essentially,
because stand-up.
Because what's he gonna do? Which means then he would have to then like either fly out that night or that Saturday morning to then do a gig on Saturday. But then if he has to be in work on Monday and not be late, he can't do any he can't do any Sunday shows. Yeah. And if he did, I guess it would have to be in the afternoon. Right. And then he would have to turn around and take a flight and then be home.
Sunday.
So he's essentially telling him that he can't do stand-up.
Wow. That's fucking that makes things so much
He
worse.
had a mandatory writing, like where he had to like produce every day a certain amount of like bits that they could maybe talk about or work on and ideas.
Yeah.
So he had like homework where he like
oh my god.
So like he had to be there for the show prep and the work that they're, because obviously the show is like however many hours long, but then they're also doing other stuff where they're writing and collaborating and doing ideas or maybe filming stuff that they've been talking about. So there's more. It's a full day's work.
Right. I mean, there's stuff I could understand wanting someone who's committed to be there, but not.
So he was
against their will.
No, but he was usually like, well, I'm going to show up. I'll help do the prep work.
Yeah.
With writing the bits or whatever like that for like that show.
Yeah.
Film the show, and then I think he would usually like leave.
Yeah.
So he would then need to stay there for like his 8 or 10 hour day, and then he would during that time he was like expected to be like writing.
Oh wow, man! Fuck.
So there was all these other like weird things
that makes sense why he didn't want to sign the contract.
I think
what was Malice's? Oh, go ahead.
I think there was some thing in there where like he would he could only do stand up like every 3 weeks or something like that.
What the fuck is that, bro? What the fuck?
There was all these like weird things within the contract, and that's why he wouldn't sign it. He's like, I'm not gonna sign it.
Okay. Understand. Wow. That's so much worse than what I understood.
And then, like a couple days later, the video with his wife comes out.
Oh no!
Did you not see that?
No, I saw.
Okay.
But that's why I'm like, oh wow! Like,
so everybody's trying to deal with what Dave has been talking about. Be like, that's wild and crazy and controlling. And then the video with his wife comes out and everyone's like, holy shit.
See, I didn't know the backdrop. Like, my only understanding or interaction, like, when I see Steven Crowder, like, I saw the whole change my mind thing. And I was like, oh, this guy seems super sharp. And this is super interesting, but it's super slanted in
it seemed a little
fresh
too
and fit
conservative
type of way.
Yeah, it seemed a little too conservative.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, he's not talking to anybody of note, because it's like, oh, some of these things, like if someone comes up with a strong counter argument, he'll just be like, no, that's wrong. And it's like, no, it's not. But you can make it fit within the confines of the way you look at it. But because he's just pulling people off the street, people are like, oh, they kind of fold after that. Most people do. There's some people who can stick in there, but Yeah, especially people who just decide to come sit down at something.
I'm not
like
gonna
a
debate
video.
somebody.
But it's
Well, at least just like on a whim publicly.
yeah, like, oh, I was gonna go get something to eat, but
I don't think I would debate somebody planned.
I'd like, you know,
I wouldn't.
I like conversations. I don't necessarily like debates. I like more.
So I would have
let's
to
try to get to a solution type.
I would have to like be a trained debater for you to
Yeah,
get me
that's
to
what-
want to go do that.
I don't like the underhanded. I hate to call out the name, but Eric Dyson type of shit. Just try to paint somebody or talk over them. And
You don't have to do that, but
yeah, but I hate.
you need
I would
to be-
hate
you need
trying to
to
have
be-
a conversation with someone who's doing that to me.
That's what I'm
That
saying. You would
frustrates
need to be able to be like, what's his fucking name? I told you about him. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. We watched his video. It was Matt Taibbi and then the other guy. The name completely blanked.
Douglas Murray.
Douglas Murray.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very.
But Douglas Murray has the temperament and the
Yeah.
intellectual ability to be like, I can deflect all of these things
Yeah.
and throw something back at you.
Yeah, and
Whereas I would just like go fuck yourself.
I don't know if I'll be able to like really like I don't think I'm that good of.
I would get
orator.
overwhelmed and angry.
Yeah. I hear you. I don't think I wouldn't get angry, but I think I would just be like I would be overwhelmed. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, we're having a conversation. Like, you could just disagree with me. You could just like you don't have to be
then
like
I
the
don't
Malcolm Gladwell shit.
I don't speak well enough. I'm gonna slip up, and then they're gonna be like, "Oh, I got him," and then they're gonna and then I'm gonna be like, "Son of a."
Yeah, but like I love having conversations, but I don't want to like the idea of let's talk about this. I win or you win. It's like no. Let's talk about things. How do we get to the solution? How do we solve the problem? I like that.
But going there,
that's necessarily not
going there and sitting down, like that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
We're about to have intellectual combat.
Yeah. But I like intellectual tussles. I just don't like the Mortal Kombat style, like buckets of blood, ripped out spines type of conversation. But like that's where I saw him at, and that was my impression of him. And then I don't watch his shows, and I've only watched a handful of like excerpts from the whole table sitting thing. And then I saw him on Patrick Bet-David had interviewed him. No, I saw him on Joe Rogan, an exchange that they were having. It was like a 5-minute thing, or he's like, "Oh, I'm running late," or maybe it was 10 minutes. Like he's like, "Oh, I'm running late to go to the thing," but they were in the middle of a heated argument, and Joe was kind of calling him out. He's just like, "Yo, dude, like you're talking, you're trying to circumnavigate like the conversation." He's like, "You have to address the issue right here," and it's like. It wasn't a good conversation. At least that part of it. It wasn't good. And it was just like super contentious, and he was just having this back and forth with somebody who just wouldn't back down like they would on the tables. And I was just like, yeah, I think he needs to do more of that. And I think if he approached that, like I don't think he did a good job having a honest conversation there. But if he dedicated himself to having more honest conversations, I think I was like, you would have like a real diamond right here. Like this guy could really be something. But I just didn't like the way that he conversated there, and before it's like, well, hopefully that exchange, brought him to this realization. Will bring him closer to becoming better and better.
I don't think so.
Yeah, well, I had the hope, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't watch this stuff. But then I see him on Patrick Bet-David, and then he's talking about the whole Daily Wire thing, and
someone brought up a good point. He might have nixed on that deal because he knew what was going on with his wife. Because if he gets that, then that can create complications.
Yeah, I could see that.
She gets half his money.
Yeah. And they're saying that he was meeting with lawyers trying to figure like, yo, how can I make sure she doesn't get anything?
He might have just nixed it. But I don't know.
And especially now, like you can't take
insane.
Yeah, at first I thought it was. I interpreted like I'll trust what you give me until like if anyone give me reason not to trust. And like I had reason to distrust some of the way that he presented certain issues, but
like when he recorded the phone call with his friend who
But like, I didn't think that he was not a genuine person. I thought that he just needed like that kick in the ass. I was hoping that Joe Rogan thing was it. And then I seen him on Patrick Bet David, and I was like, I think he got that kick in the ass because he was just like, they were talking about the Daily Wire thing. He's like, well, it wasn't about the money. I do pretty good. And he was talking about how he was like pretty savvy about getting shares or get stock or like a percentage of what the door sales are, as opposed to getting paid a certain amount at each venue. I'm like, oh, that's smart. And how he's trying to build a social media company, and how he's trying to recruit a bunch of talent, and like no one's doing it the way that he's doing it. I was like, oh, that's awesome. That's cool. And I was like, oh, I wonder if
everybody
he has...
says nobody's doing it the way I do.
No, it's he hired the right advertiser, or he advertised it the right way. But I was just taking it at face value. I was like, oh wow, that's great, and like he was going into details about how other people are playing it this way, and he's taking a comedic spin to it. I'm like, yeah, I don't really see a lot of. Oh, that's kind of cool, yeah. So I still didn't watch his stuff, but that was the last thing that I heard about it. And then the next thing I see was the video itself of him and his wife, and I was just like, oh no, on TikTok,
very white.
Or no, not TikTok, Twitter.
Very white. I might add. That's incredibly white interaction.
You walk the dog,
Hillary.
But now
that's not what we're doing here.
Yeah, but like when I was, and I was
It
gonna
like watching Jim Carrey try and be as white as he possibly could be. All right, Jim, you're gonna be a dad, white, suburbs. You don't flavor your food.
Yeah. Maybe
Start talking. Well, hello, James.
Yeah. I was like, but when I saw that, I was just like, and I know people like talking about it. I was like, well, I don't know. I was like, yeah, this looks kind of bad. And I was like, wow, like, why is he making his wife walk the dog? Like, what? I was like, it sounds like there's a conversation before this.
Yeah.
That it took place. It's like, this is only an excerpt.
Well, I think she didn't want to give the dog the medication because there's like chemicals in it.
And she was afraid of the effects on the baby.
And then he was saying like, "We'll wear gloves."
Yeah. And meanwhile, he's just like sitting in his outside patio. It's like, why are you taking the car? Well, then I'm going to be stranded. Why don't you Uber? I was like, wait a minute.
That's something that a lot of people have been like focused on. Is like, well, why is there one car?
Well, not even that.
But there's two of you, and you guys are millionaires.
But if not only that, but if she could take an Uber,
then you could take it.
How are you stranded if she takes the car? I was just like, that doesn't make any sense. So I just thought that was kind of crazy. But maybe they're just fighting and talking about something else. He's like, oh well, I don't love you. Good wife, and you need to showcase this. I was like, whoa, like, all right, like
a very weird interaction.
Yeah, like that's not, and that's the sense that I get. Like people having debates, like that's how they talk to each other. I'm always like, no,
this is why. That's a good example of why you should have sex before marriage.
Yeah,
because he said that they married with their virginity or whatever.
Oh yeah, because he's like, oh, I don't believe in divorce.
Did you see his statement that he said on the show?
No. He said,
It's very bad.
Oh well, let me. So like my impression of the thing.
He was like, no, it got released because of that statement.
Oh.
She had the video and released the video because of that.
Oh.
He put all the blame on her.
I saw the part where he was talking about marriage. Like, oh, well, he, and I don't know if this was part of the statement, but he was just like, well, you know, we're just getting a divorce. Things weren't working out. I chose wrong. I didn't believe in divorce, but she wants one, so it is what it is. I was like, oh man, that sucks. And then the video, like I put those two together.
There's more to it, I think.
Yeah, I skimmed through Crowder shit, but like my impression of it was just like, well, this
he talks about like how he's trying to not get the divorce, and you know.
Yeah, and then
kind of the values of it, and then like kind of throwing shade at her, being like she's choosing to leave our union type shit. And then she dropped this video, being like, this guy's a nut.
Yeah. And then like I saw something where it's like, oh no, he was actually meeting with lawyers to try to get divorced before any of this. It's like, wait a minute, but I thought she was the one trying to.
I think he was.
Trying to make sure that she didn't get anything from the divorce.
Yes,
or something like
he was trying to financially secure himself in case of that, which is like wild too.
Yeah. So it's like, and like when you couple this, like, first I was looking at the interaction itself, and I'm like, well, this isn't how people should talk to each other. It's like, if you want certain things to happen, it's like you go in like, hey, I have this expectation. You're not doing this.
It was very I mean, it was personal, but it wasn't. At the same time,
it was nasty. Like it was just like it reminded me of like my kids.
Nasty.
I don't know.
It's a weird nasty.
It was like it reminded me of
if I'm getting in an argument, I'm gonna be like, why do you need to fucking take the car? Where are you gonna go?
Yeah. You expect that. Yeah.
It's like
there's like a lot of context missing.
You know what I mean? Like you're 8 months pregnant. Just sit the fuck down.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. And then you push back. It's like, oh, that seems normal. Yeah, you're right.
And then we're yelling at each other about something stupid.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be
That's why the dog's medication is... All right. But it's just, it was weird. It was very strange because it was like he was speaking from a place of, desired authority. Like it's not even because he's like, don't fucking do that.
No, it was like he was her father.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he was aspiring to be this dictator. Like, no, this is what you do. This is what you don't do, and this is why this is wrong. This is why it is.
What did he say? Wifely duties.
Yeah, wifely duties and like dictatorship,
that
taking the car.
The
like
oddest thing to say.
Yeah, I'm just like, this isn't.
That's something you say like abstractly about like what a marriage is.
Yeah, that's why it's like
on like a podcast or an interview.
Yeah, and then
it's not something
and
that
to the person that you fucking relationship or fucking married to or like carrying your children.
Yeah, it's not.
What the fuck is that?
You wouldn't say that to your partner.
No, like it's like, hey yo, you didn't do this. What the fuck is wrong? Blah blah. Okay, maybe you shouldn't do that. Maybe get mad. Maybe get elevated. But it's like but just like the setting expectations though. Like you feel like it just reminded me of my kids. Just sniping at each other, like the older brother, like speaking from this place of like, oh well, I'm the authority and da da da. It's like, no, you're his brother. You guys are on the same level. Don't do that shit. But that's why it's like you aspirational authority. Like you're not at the level that you think you're at. You're right here. Like it's a partnership. You're right there. Nothing else matters.
Very
so it's
odd.
just super strange.
It was
But
the weirdest video I've ever watched.
But putting that in context with everything else that you said, with like his controlling tendencies. Underhandedly, like trying to fuck with this person, and then the other stuff that came
trying
out.
to screw his wife.
Yeah, I'm just like, wait, trying to like
financially, like
okay, that's what. Oh, I was like, oh, this word.
No, I meant the financial maneuvering.
Oh, got you. But I was thinking like, oh, you're trying to screw somebody else's wife. I was like, oh.
No.
But yeah, like put all that together. And then it's like you said, it's like, oh no, he didn't get no kind of kick in the ass. Like this guy's just like a lunatic, master manipulator, narcissistic, just.
I think it's probably because he had so much control in his blow up.
Yeah.
That
I can see that.
He might be afraid of losing that.
Yeah.
And then because everything else in his life is going so well because of his control, he's
attributing that control to that success. So
yeah.
He doesn't want to. I get.
I don't think he's trying to actually manipulate his wife.
Okay.
Well,
okay. It's not like a malicious type.
Yeah. It's just subconsciously
okay.
taking over his social life, where like he's now treating their relationship like his business.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Meaning, like, it wasn't in the beginning. This, like, continued to manifest itself because he continued to grow.
Yeah.
And then he was getting all this money, and then he was like, well, I gotta keep doing this because I was in control, and then that's just now spreading across his whole life.
Yeah.
And then because he's had so much control over this, now he's bringing in a comedian, and this is like... And then he's like looking at that and he's like, there's way too much independence over here.
Yeah.
I need to kind of rein that in because this is going to help build our product because you're a good addition to it. And and now I need to control you.
Yeah. I can see that. That makes a lot of sense. But all of that is very me focused. Like it reminds me of and I've only seen up to like season 5 or something. But The Walking Dead, where it's like
because it used to be just him and that.
Yeah, incidental, and like he runs into this the father and the son, and like he gets saved by them, and then like he gets saved by Glenn under the tank in Atlanta, and it's like a bunch of incidental things, and then it turned into this whole I am the one that got us to this point, and I need to be in control. Fuck all your decisions. We're gonna do what I say, and I don't know how it ended up from there, but he turned into this character that couldn't be wrong, and
didn't want to be out of control.
Yeah, didn't want to be out of control. And then the story kind of morphed around that. Like whenever he made whatever decision he made was the right decision for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. And I wonder, I need to keep watching it. I don't know if that ever proved to be wrong or had them in the wrong direction.
I mean, it's all over the place. So
yeah. But yeah, it reminds me of that. Crowder reminds me of that. That makes sense. But that's very narcissistic. That's very like, me, it's all because of me. That's very like the ego wise with the Bud lady. I came up with this idea. This is what it's gonna do. It's like, okay, like pretend for a moment that you're not the queen of the world. You're not the king of the world. Like just understand that there's other people that play a factor in the success of this, or like, and they're just as valuable as you, or at least you should respect them as much as they respect you. And just didn't do that, and that's a heavy. The kick in the nuts that he needs requires a much bigger size shoe than I thought was required. There's a writer's strike in Hollywood, I guess.
I saw something about it, but is there?
I mean, like the writers' union is on strike. I think they were on strike. A little while ago, not a little while ago, maybe like a decade or so ago, but and that was over something similar, like when it came to pay and getting royalties off of the stuff that they've written, and the shows blow up and be successful. It's like they want like a Crowder cut, or like just a decent cut. So they were fighting for that, and I think they were ousted there was a directors union. And they kind of forced them to come to the table and concede on whatever things. But now the big push is they still have the same gripes when it comes to the money thing. But the big thing is AI. They're concerned with the companies utilizing AI to
replace them.
Yeah, and then the other thing is because there's a lot of streaming services. So if you write a hit show and someone else writes a hit show, it's like you guys will get like an equal amount, but because there's no transparency in how successful the show is, they're not really getting an accurate depiction of how valuable their work is. So I think they're asking for transparency.
Because your monthly income could be like $150 million.
Yeah.
But your show might be getting I'm trying to think of a good number. Maybe your show is really hot, and for that month, they were averaging 5 million views a week.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, if you only gave me $120,000, it's like, but my show for a month has been helping generate.
Yeah.
In a way, generating millions of dollars of revenue for you because people are interested in my show, and it looks like maybe there's like a fairly consistent maintaining of that number. So the next month looks like that might be good. So like I probably should get a little bit more than just $100,000.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's pretty much their call to action. They're against AI.
I think that might dismantle the companies.
Yeah, I wonder how that would turn out.
The amount of money that they're putting into these movies and shows now, like if they're having to then divvy out payments and make those bigger,
down to the writers,
it's really going to cut into their profit and their ability to project on what they're going to make.
Yeah, either that or the monthly costs are going to skyrocket. Not going to fuck up the brand too. So, but
could you imagine? It's
I wonder how that's
get your Netflix for $40.99.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'll just get cable again.
Never mind.
Cable might get a comeback.
Yeah, it might. I mean, and like
because between all the streaming services, if they're like all like $30 a pop, it's like, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna spend $80. Well. I'm gonna spend $65 a month to get a basic cable package.
Yeah, I'll deal with commercials.
There's free on demand. I'll be able to watch. Movies.
Yeah, that's right.
I have FX, so I can still watch FX shows.
You know, it's funny. I was thinking because I have this streaming, all these Disney Plus. I got Netflix. I have Amazon. So I wasn't thinking about it, but I went to
calculate it to see.
Yeah, and then but I went to how much it adds up to. It's like, well, if I can get something similar on cable, like I really have it for the kids. It's not for me, so it's like
I know what you mean.
But if it's like, but I went to see Dungeons and Dragons the other day, and I was like at AMC, and I saw they were advertising the A-list thing. I was like $20 a month. And it's like to watch like 3 movies a week, and I was like, that's fucking excessive. Like watching 3 movies a week. But I was thinking, if I don't have anything else, if I don't watch have any streaming services or watch anything on these sites, it's like.
Well, also they're doing that on purpose because most people aren't doing that.
Yeah. So.
But you still get the. Is it 3 free movies a week?
Yeah. With the $20 a month, you get 3 movies, however you want it. Like either
but you still make your money back by going to see a movie a week or every 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think they don't like. It doesn't cost them for people to sit in the seats 3 times a week for $20 a month. Like it's just for them. They like it because it's guaranteed money. And it doesn't really cost them much because they're showing the movies anyway. Yeah. Sometimes there's only 3 people in the movie theater if they're showing at 11 o'clock on a Wednesday. So I mean, they're looking at it,
and they make their money off of concessions.
Exactly, and it's a way to guarantee, or at least
because if you're getting a free movie,
for that subscription. And
if I'm not paying to see a movie,
I might as well get some.
The amount it costs me to get like a large popcorn and soda is going to be about the price of the ticket.
Yeah, and I think it comes with a free large popcorn or free large soda. But then there's like
I think that's once a month.
Maybe
or point build up.
Yeah,
I mean either way.
I didn't look
either way
into it, but they're
if you're near an AMC, or whatever movie package deal that there is, it makes sense. To
go that way,
because you're building points to lead you to get free shit, or you're getting the free movie. So it's like, okay, well, if I like movies and it's close by, I can go get my money's worth.
Yeah, and if this thing like really harms the company's bottom line, it's like stuff like that's going to be way more appealing. So not only would cable,
it also gets people back into the theaters.
Yeah, and that's what they're worried about. They're worried about like kind of hold on to it. Yeah. Tired of your Netflix? I can see that commercial coming soon. Tired of your Netflix thing going up? But I mean, and it's not to say that the writers are in the wrong. Like I think it's fair for them for what they're asking for. But I think from jump, I mean, not that it's hard to be in that position anyway because you don't even know how successful, if it's successful, or if anybody would even pick it up in the first place. But I think it should be all for nothing shares of whatever it is. Like, hey, I wrote this, let me get 10% or whatever it is. So if it does nothing, I get 0. Fuck, let me go back to the drawing board or the writing board, whatever it's called. But then if it's or you get the flat rate, it's just like okay, that's what the way that a lot of these things are set up as. So, I think the shares are a lot more... It's all or nothing, like, very volatile, but I think that would be a much better system.
What?
For people to just focus on, like, the shares as opposed to getting paid a flat rate.
Oh, shares.
Yeah, like at like the way that body shops work, where it's like, you go in and you get paid, like, oh, you're doing a tear down, so, like, you get, for a tear down, it's this much... calculate because like this is calculated to be like 2 hours worth of work. So then and you get your hourly rate is this is how much you get paid for the work you do, as opposed to getting paid a certain amount every hour for the time that you're there. Or whatever product.
Like, do you know who David Cho? I think it's David Cho.
David Cho?
He's a guy who's been on Rogan a few times. He's a famous
the guy with the
artist.
tattoo all around. Like
that was red paint.
Oh,
that
okay.
wasn't a tattoo. Yeah,
okay.
That was like a Korean thing that he did.
Oh, okay.
But that's him.
Yeah.
So
I don't know too much about him.
He's a famous artist.
Yeah.
And Google asked him if, Facebook. Facebook asked him to paint their office, do some murals.
Okay.
For maybe 10 or 20 grand or something like that.
Yeah.
Or they offered him stock options.
Yeah.
He took the stock options and he made a few $100 million.
Oh yeah. That's the move, man. That's the move. Hell yeah.
Fucking motherfucker.
Where's that paint bucket? Yeah, no, that's the move. That's the move. I think you should do that because in that way, it's like it incentivizes people to try to create something that
to help bolster their stock options.
Yeah, and then you're gonna get paid what you're really worth, or at least a portion of the work that you've done.
It'd be a good kickback, a bonus.
Hell yeah.
Here's your fee for writing this or whatever we're paying you for the work, and then on top of that, there's I don't know what would be. 5,000 stock options, whatever the
equivalent. That still makes it profitable for them, but so whatever agreement is, whatever number is agreed upon. But it's unfortunately, the system's more so. It sounds like what they're doing in the writers' rooms is all right, you get paid this much for this. So I can understand wanting the transparency, but I have a feeling that they're not vying for the percentage of the show. They're just more so. I feel like jealous is the wrong word. They see the value that their work has, or they want to see the value that their work has in order to bargain for better pay, but they don't want to take the risk of if the show fails. And I think you can't have it both ways. Either you go all or nothing for the risk, like stock options or the money. You take the flat rate guaranteed, you have this money no matter what, or you take the percentage.
Because you don't really need money. I don't think.
And that's the good position to be in. Unfortunately,
most people aren't.
I need help. But yeah, that's what's going on. That's all I know from that. I don't know anything else beyond that. Barstool, there was I don't watch that stuff too much either, but I think I've only watched one thing, but it was super
you caught that?
The guy who was singing
who sung the song and said the N-word.
Yeah.
And then their parent company that owns them then was you have to fire him.
Yeah.
And then that company then dropped 11%.
Yeah. I didn't know about the 11%.
I think they dropped 11%.
That's intense. But yeah, I think it sucks that to not have
a couple $100 million in overall worth.
Because I know David was it David Portnoy?
Dave Portnoy.
Dave Portnoy. He didn't. I don't know. He didn't want to get rid of him. I know Barstool didn't want to get rid of him, but because the parent company was well.
That was a hard line that they drew.
Yeah. So I mean that it sucks to not have that level of agency, in the people that you work with. So I mean, they made the decision to sell it. So I mean, they took the payout versus the, They
made $500 million.
Yeah. So it's I say if you're doing well enough to be above water, stick with the stock option.
Can I have $1 million?
Just one. Just one.
I have $1 million.
I'll settle.
It's so sad hearing people making one financial move, and it's here's $500 million.
What am I gonna do with that money? Holy shit!
I retire
and God.
Get a personal trainer and chef.
Do exactly what I want to do, man. Oh, that'd be great. But yeah, I think if you're doing well enough to keep I think everyone should fight to get enough money to maintain, and then find out whatever their passions, do whatever they want to do, and then find a way to make that successful and to get stock options from that, or
That's the goal.
100% into there. Yeah. So that's what we're doing here. Like and subscribe. I really gotta fucking start clipping some shit out and advertising some fucking way that doesn't, make us blind to people on YouTube. I guess I should start talking to people about it too.
We should probably brainstorm about this instead of just blindly doing that.
Yeah. You're saying that I shouldn't make Alyssa, whatever her name, the Bud advertiser move. Like, yeah, that's a good call. I guess the small company right here should wear the different hats and confer. Yeah. No, but it reminded me of this one. It reminded me of this clip. About like imagine the first black person to say the N-word, and not like Uncle Tom or Sambo character type of like, oh, that nigga on the horse in Django, not Samuel L. Jackson.
You mean like,
but like the first one would be like
NWA.
Yeah, like sup nigga.
You said that with like a mild homosexuality.
Oh, yeah, I didn't mean it that way. I'm just like,
what's up with you?
Cock on my head, one.
Finna sit on his dick.
Yeah. No, I didn't mean it that way. I meant they're trying to break someone in, buck breaking, and they're just like, they're doing all that, and they're like whooping him, and he's getting his ass kicked, and then he's just like, they're just like, yeah, you're good for nothing, nigger, and then he's just like, you're right, massa. Then he walks up the cotton field, and everyone's like, oh shit, I can't believe that happened, and then he's like, what's up, nigga? And it makes it cool, and everyone's like, yeah.
I like the sound of that.
Nigga. Sup, my nigga.
When did that start?
I don't know. That's a good question. Well, you know what? I think...
the 70s.
I think Richard Pryor... I really don't know, but Richard Pryor is the oldest person I know
No, Red Fox said it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm almost positive Red Fox. And then the guy, God, I always forget his fucking name. I forget a lot of people's names. The guy who found the Zapruder film.
I don't know.
You know the Zapruder film?
No.
That's the footage of Kennedy getting shot.
Oh, okay.
Gregory. Oh, what's his name? The black comedian. Dick Gregory?
Oh.
Is that his name? Dick Gregory?
I feel like I don't know why Dick Tracy's coming to my mind, but no, I know they got the super old guy with the.
Is that him? Yeah, it's Dick Gregory.
Yeah.
I'm 100% sure he said it. Yeah, so him and Red Fox were like kind of the first trailblazing black comedians, and both of them said it.
Okay. Oh,
Dick Tracy's a white man.
Very different person. But yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I don't. Probably sometime around that time because we're using the term Negro to refer to African Americans, which now that term seems to piss people off now too. Whatever the fuck.
African Americans piss people off.
Yeah.
I can't keep track. When did this happen?
Oh, it's been a slow burn. Oh god.
I'm assuming it's for the wrong reasons.
Well, it's like
it's not the reasons I think it is.
What it is that it's like a pushback against the whole. Well, other Americans don't ascribe themselves to as Italian Americans or Irish Americans.
Well, I'm cool with that then.
Yeah, so they're talking about it from that perspective.
That's a good one.
I'm just.
This isn't a weird one. This is a good one.
It's more so like, oh well, I don't have any ties or associations with Africans, so I just want to be called black because that's a whole other culture than what Africans are, which is fair, but a part of that movement is more so pride in the black culture in America, and part of that movement is a pushback against Africans, and so it's just so I have mixed feelings on that.
Oh.
But I understand, if you want to call your group one thing or another, like I get it, I understand, and I mean, and if I talk to other Africans, it's like no, black is very different from African American. It's like those are two very different things. But people are still hating on Dominicans for saying they're not black, so whatever.
But they're not. They...
Yeah, but that's man.
Because they didn't formulate their own culture.
Yeah, it's just
like
and
David Ortiz is fucking Dominican.
Yeah.
Like, he's not Dominican.
I not only that, but like the whole Dominican identity was a pushback against the Haitian occupation of the country, and when the Haitians came in, they were just like, well, they had a slave uprising, and that's a whole story in and of itself. It's not just as simple as like, oh yeah, those guys were picking cotton, and then one day they were just like, yeah, fuck that shit. Like, no, there's a lot more complexity to that, but for some reason we just like to fucking simplify the rest of the world because America's the most complex place to ever exist, and we're the most complex people to ever understand anything. But like things were very complex in Haiti, and the slave revolt, and like the big push was, okay, let's have our own identity, and their idea of having their own country and their own identity was to reject everything that was European. So language, culture, the culture in general, but the language, religion, white colored people owning land. So when they came in, and that place was a brutal iteration of slavery, and in Dominican Republic, it was a very different type of thing, because like, you had the French in the in the United States weren't that bad, but that's because they didn't really have slaves, because they were their primary focus was trading. But in Haiti, their primary focus was production, and they really hammered that shit in. And like in Britain over here, it's like, well, the primary, so it was like it was production, and then it was then it became a commodity. Then it changed to something different. So you have like very different things going on. And in Spain, they were looking for gold and telling people about Jesus. So it's like, and they did a fair amount of fucking and screwing up the local populace as well. But it's very different. So, but anyway, long story short,
they find like whole cities in the rainforest where they just all died.
Yeah. I'm not trying to say like actually, Spain was nice.
Actually, there was I forget what podcast I was listening on, but there was like a journal entry. I can't remember who it was. If it was like, Dutch or English or Spanish, but it was obviously European.
Yeah.
And then they were like the person was kind of making a little bit of a joke about it. So they were kind of summarizing what was in these like journal entries. So like they were saying like they'd go and like visit a place, and then they'd get on a boat, and then like 2 or 3 months later or 6 months later, they'd come back, and like everyone would just be dead.
Yeah. Would have been you know what? No, not gonna go there.
Well, no, because it pokes holes in the smallpox shit. Where, like it was like this nefarious thing, and it was just literally the mere interaction.
Yeah, it's there's a whole complexity. It's just I'm mad at Black Panther. Okay, that's even all.
Where did that come into?
Oh, I'm thinking. Remember in the Aztec, or he's a Mayan descendant, and then he was upset at them seeing this, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna fight against the world," but for some reason he didn't do anything to help any Mayan civilization or city after that one outburst as a child.
Well, he only wanted to protect his people.
Yeah, but it's like. But he's saying like that iteration, that moment when he tried to bury his mom was like a thing that really upset him, and that's why he develops his whole mindset in preparing to protect his people and fight against the world. But then if you identify those people, those Mayans in that place as your people, then what about the other Mayans? Are those not your people? So and that kind of flies in the face of everything that Black Panther 1 tried to establish between the whole people who look like me versus no, people in Wakanda are my people. So it's that's a whole other thing, man. But anyway, let me finish by this.
Actually, that just made me think about the first one.
Yeah. Did it? Like,
yeah, because it's like, why would he be obligated to help Black people in California?
Well, that's exactly that's what the conversation was about. That's exactly why he was like, I'm not the king of Black people. I'm the king of Wakanda. That was the whole.
I probably already had this thought
match
before, but I know it's been a while since I thought of
but
it.
But that was the whole fight. That was the whole thing that they've been wrestling with in the whole movie.
The last act, I kind of just like once Killmonger was coming into the throw and wanted to like kill all white people and Asians, I was just like, I'm kind of this is ridiculous.
But like at least I could understand the mindset. Like it was.
I couldn't get past how he was a special forces guy.
Yeah, and work with all these people and so
you're training with the same unit for like 3 years and just develop no sympathy at all for white people.
Or just like, I mean, it's not even consistent, because then it's like, if he really cares about Black people that much, then what about this Black person who looked to be his romantic love interest who he just
shot in the head?
This is the guy. This is your leader. This is your leader. This is your king.
Well, Robert, they just wanted to accurately depict a Black man.
I was willing and able to look past some of these things just for the overall message. This guy is about Pan-Africanism versus this guy is all about just his country. I'm trying to get behind that. But in the second one, they blew that shit to smithereens with this whole thing. It's like, wait, protecting my people. Wait, so define your people. It's like, are you talking about the people who live underwater? Wait, are you talking about the people who live in that specific town? Are you talking about Mayans in general? Because, I mean, Mayans at that point was like a bunch of city-states. Wait, are you angry about the colonial powers? Then why didn't you fight against the colonial powers? Why didn't you liberate more Mayans? It's like, not really. It's not as well fleshed out as they think it is. They probably hired the same lady at Budweiser. Oh, okay. That's mean. But no. I was going down this tangent just to say the Dominican identity centers around revolting against when the Haitians came in and they were just like, okay, people lighter skinned, that you don't have land, you don't speak that language, don't practice that religion. And I mean, still to this day on the Dominican flag, there's God, liberty, and patriotism, and that's central to Dominican ideology, and they have this pushback against oh no, I'm not Haitian, even though there's a lot of close genealogical ties between Haitians and Dominicans, but they're denying that just because of the wars that happened for liberation. I think it happened a second time, but it's like that interaction, like when Dominicans think about Black, they're thinking, and of course the complication of being a tourist destination and Americans coming. When they think about Black, they think about
Americans coming.
Yeah.
The British are coming.
Yeah. But they're thinking about African American Blacks and they're thinking about Haitian Blacks. They're not talking about ancestral roots to Africa. They're not. That's not the way that Dominican think. But for some reason, they're depicted in this light. Or what should I say? We're depicted in this light, like denying African American heritage. I was like, that's not what's going on. Just stop it. Stop with your second grade reading level of history, trying to depict the rest of the world in the light that you think it's in when you don't know shit about it. Stop it. Stop with your Bud Light interpretation of the world. Fuck you. I don't know why I went down that rabbit hole.
Because you felt like it hit you personally.
Yeah, I did. I'm racist. How long is this shit? Oh, maybe. There's just so much shit to get through. God damn it. All right, yeah, you pick one. Oh, you know what? Like, we can continue with Tucker. Because some other stuff came out with Tucker. He was what did he say? Oh, he was saying there was this point where did you see the clip when he was talking about when there was like some people who were fighting and he said something like oh, that's not how white. It was like, oh, this is disgraceful. This is ridiculous. This isn't how white people fight. We shouldn't be doing this or something like that.
What?
Let me find the clip because I saw a mention of it. I didn't see the clip itself. Let me try to find it itself so we could just actually react.
Like this isn't what white people do or something?
Yeah, something to that effect.
Okay, I'm gonna go pee real quick.
Yeah. Okay.
So that didn't seem bad at all.
No, it didn't. I'm gonna say.
I mean, he said that he had a bad thought and that he realizes that he shouldn't think this way and this isn't good.
Yeah. It was like, you mean that
it's
he's
one of your fucking measured responses.
He's acknowledging
his fault.
A fault and then and reflecting upon it and thinking about the best way forward.
So they were
a white supremacist. So, that is, yeah.
So they were trying to say
he's a white supremacist. The part when he's just like, well, this isn't how white men fight. So because he said this isn't the way the white men fight is like
I don't think people
an indication of a superiority complex.
I don't think people understand what white supremacy is.
I mean, yeah, I think people are afraid or they look at him in this super negative light and then they look for they come to a conclusions about him as a person and now they're looking for things that could support that claim, even though it's a shot in the dark with this.
I'm talking about how people use white supremacy. I don't think they understand what that is. Like white supremacy.
I'd say, yeah. You're right. Yeah. No,
it's like when they say America's a white supremacist. It's like no capitalist society can be a racial supremacy. It's impossible.
like they could say like, and this
else, why would there be so many poor white people?
Yeah, like that's the problem.
The whole thing is about the betterment of the race.
Yeah, like
not 8 guys with $1 billion.
Yes, I don't think when they say that like they mean something else. They mean
like racist.
Yeah, I think what they mean is that it's a system that has not benefited people of other races by the laws that were instituted in the past. So it's disadvantaged people of other colors from other countries versus the people who are already here. That doesn't mean that everybody who was here and everybody who was white benefited. That all it means is that the opportunity was there for a certain amount of people in a certain position.
It was for a certain group of people, which was the white guys.
Who took advantage of other people who were black.
Well, they took advantage of everybody.
Yeah, but especially through, principally through slavery, which is what they're really...
But that's not white supremacy.
Point. Exactly. So, yeah, you're right. It's not used the right way. This is... What I said is what they mean to say, but they instead of using more words to describe the thing that they're talking about.
White supremacy.
Exactly. So through that veil, even through the way that they define white supremacy, the self-reflection that he has of being honest, and it's not like he went on TV and said this. This is either a text. They say text in here, but I don't know if it's an email. But it's a message.
I don't think they got his phone.
Yeah,
I think it's
his. It might be.
I think it's his email.
But I don't But whichever way, through his written word to somebody else, he's reflecting on this thing. He's talking about it, and then he's like, "This isn't. I don't like this part about me. I want to do better." That, by their own definition, that's not white supremacy.
Doesn't sound all that bad.
Yeah, but they're paying it out in that picture. I mean, I've said much worse things to my kids about. I've said very racist things to my. If that's the way they measure supremacy and racism, holy shit. Yeah, I've said some really bad things.
Why not say?
Let me tell you, I've said some terrible things. No, but it's it's because I have a lot of pride as a black man, and I want my boys to have pride as black men. So it's like that's the way black men don't do this. Black men don't do that. As a black man, you should do this. It's like, yeah, I don't think that I'm superior to everybody else. So black men are superior to everybody else. But I'm just especially proud of black men and everything that we've endured and everything we've been able to accomplish in spite of that. And I want to instill that same feeling of pride and happiness that comes from being a part of a group that's accomplished so much with so little. And so like I don't know if what conversations he has about white people, but I don't think there's anything wrong with being proud of who you are or where you come from. I mean, like, my parents instilled in me, like, yo, you are Dominican, you are African, you are American. I don't understand. There's nothing wrong with being proud of that. There's nothing wrong with being proud of the things that the groups that you're associated with, the groups that you're born into. And I think that the reason why they're pushing back against him so much is because they already hate him, they already don't like him, so now they're just trying to paint him in an ugly picture. That's why he got fired. I'm like, that's such a long shot, dude. It's such a fucking lazy way to look at the world, and that's why Budlight does what they do. And people are sitting there defending Bud.
It's not lazy.
Okay, yeah, I keep using the wrong words then.
And it's not Budlight, it's just that person.
Yeah.
That person
is
right, just an
right.
ideologue who doesn't talk to people who have different opinions than her and didn't take the time or energy to take a step back to be like, okay, what's the best way for me to get my message for what I want to put out and where I want the company to go, while at the same time not completely shitting on the base of the consumers of our product. That's a good point. She decided to just go and just reactionarily do something instead of taking into account, like, maybe people don't want to see this person who looks like they're manic.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's just, but
man,
I think that action, the actions that person took is
a TikToker
is
isn't
justified.
the route to go.
Yeah, but it's like, but that kind of action, that kind of however you want to call it, not lazy, then simple or.
I mean that's like why they do things like the Little Mermaid and everything like that.
Yeah, that's why they operate the way that they operate, because people have
funny
emotional reactions to.
You see that there was some backlash with the Stitch.
Oh no!
So
with Stitch,
Lilo and Stitch.
They're doing a
live action movie.
Oh no!
No, it'll probably be good.
Maybe.
They did Pinocchio and that was fine.
Yeah.
And they did they did 2 versions of Jungle Book.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
they have the capabilities to generate Stitch.
I'm not saying that they don't, but it's just like I can't imagine, like, Stitch is such a cartoony character. Like maybe it's like they're gonna do like Sonic the Hedgehog, where it's like they're gonna clip in like a realistic looking person of Stitch.
Yeah, it'll work.
Yeah, I'm just because
Sonic worked. It'll work.
Yeah. I love Sonic, but the only like I love.
Okay,
I didn't watch the Jungle Book. I didn't watch the Mermaid.
We're getting off topic.
Yeah, no. Okay.
It's the sister.
Let me just say this one point. Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, the sister is like a little more. I think maybe lighter skin toned than her older sister was.
Oh,
and then people were getting mad that like she wasn't thick enough, so that she was her skin tone wasn't right. And it wasn't thick enough, and then everybody started then responding to those comments with using, like, where was this about the Little Mermaid?
Yeah,
because those same people were the ones who were probably
defending
they were probably like, oh, this is great, the Little Mermaid's black, and oh, but because this chick's a little light skinned.
Yeah. Now we're colorist, not racist here. It's such a stupid argument, but it's like my problem with the whole thing is like I haven't seen those, but I watched Maleficent, and I watched Cruella, and I thought I love those, because it was like you're still touching on the old stories. You're still having a callback to the old stories, but it's like a reimagination from somebody else's perspective, or like a backstory of this person, how it got to this level. I was like, oh, that's a super clever way of doing that. And so I support those movements. But just like the blind, like, okay, same story, same script, we're just gonna make the live action version of it. That's lazy. But it in the same vein of what we were talking about, it's like because people are reacting emotionally to these things as opposed to demanding an actually good quality or an original story, like a reimagination of the thing, then it's dog shit. That's why they come out with dog shit, because you have dog shit perspectives, you have dog shit analysis, and you don't ask them to create anything more than the dog shit that you want to put in your fucking mouths. So it's fucking stupid.
Fuck.
You fucking fuck. I developed Tourette's overnight. There was a church that supported the trans community and like was hosting a show and stuff like that. And I was like,
a show?
Yeah, like I don't know if it was like a drag show or something like that, but they were getting a lot of pushback. Like protesters were angry and saying what they were saying. Which there's nothing wrong to support a group that you think you want that should be supported. There's nothing wrong with protesting an organization that you think is doing something that you don't like. But they were like the calls for violence and shit like that. Like there were threats to like firebomb the church. And I think this was actually a Vice story, funny enough. And the pastor was just like, this happens all the time. It was just like so standard. It was like that's what's fucked up. That's what's wrong about it. Like it's wrong for not any viewpoint. There's nothing wrong with any viewpoint that you have. The wrong part is when you feel like
blow up something.
Yeah, little fucked up, especially in America of all places. You know.
Did you see the Nazis protest?
No. What was that?
They were outside some like, I don't know if it was a restaurant or there was some like drag or trans thing happening, and then these Nazis came up and like lined up and started like chanting stuff, but they all have their face covered, and then somebody said 1% members, 45% informants, and 50% undercover feds. That's like a joke. Like there's only like one or two guys that are actually like in it, and the rest are just government agents.
That's funny. Oh shit. It
was like
probably also.
It was like 20 guys.
Yeah.
One of them had a cool like that cool like Norse Nazi symbol thing that they like came up with.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Oh, because of the Aryan.
Oh, that makes sense.
There are elements of that are in it.
Okay. Damn.
But he had that
like try to turn me against Vikings, you fucks.
Yeah, but he had that like tattooed on his head.
Assholes, I like Vikings. But, that's interesting. I'm gonna check that out. But and then like there was on the other side they had there was a Texas drag I think there was a drag show going on, and then there was protesters at that drag show, and they didn't call. At least I didn't see any calls to violence or anything. And this was considerably smaller, and I don't think it was even covered by Vice. I think it was just some local thing that I picked up on for whatever reason. Oh, because I was looking up crime, and this popped up, and these guys like, okay, there's nothing wrong with wanting to support this community. There's nothing wrong with protesting something that you think is wrong. I think one of the signs, like they were chanting like, oh, like this is not okay for children or something like that. And so it's like, maybe that's their whole message. Maybe that's only part of the message. Who knows? But the part that was wrong was these people came up to them and started pepper spraying the protesters. It's like, yeah, you're in the fucking wrong. You're an asshole. You're assaulting people who disagree with you. You're a piece of shit. And the cops started arresting them, and they were trying to run away, and this lady tried to like bum rush the cops and like got taken down. Like it was just and they look exactly the way that you think it would look.
With like pink hair or something.
Yeah, blue hair.
Blue hair. Oh.
The one dude was just like looked like a buffer version of Shaggy. Another person.
No, I think I saw that.
Yeah,
The pepper spray.
Yeah,
I just didn't know where it was from.
Okay, yeah. It was wild. So I mean all that to say, like, you know, you could get mad at Tucker for his viewpoint even if you think he's a white supremacist, but the fact that he reflected on like the whole, oh yeah, well this is what I want because this is how passionately I feel about this, but then I recognize that this is not okay to feel that way.
Well, like I had to get off social media because I kept seeing all these. It was like maybe like a 3-day period where I just kept seeing all these videos of just like black people doing fucked up shit.
Yeah.
You know, like whether it's like weird street interactions or it's like some guy's trying to rob a store and then he got shot. I don't know if you saw it. That was kind of funny though.
Oh no! Oh, it's the guy who walked in.
Comes in, gets shot with a shotgun.
Oh yeah, like my sympathy level was very low for you, brother.
In like a 2-day period, I've seen like these 7 videos of like just crazy like violence, and it's all being done by black men. And then I'm like, this isn't healthy because then like
now I'm gonna be influenced by it.
It's generating me to be like angry at black people because it's like, well, now like I don't see any videos of anyone else doing this.
Yeah.
And then I'm like obviously aware of it, so then I'm like I gotta get off because I'm probably gonna see more, and then I'm just gonna get more angrier at black people because it's like generating me to have that feeling instead of me just. I don't have that feeling naturally.
Right.
I don't walk down the street and get scared.
Yeah.
Oh no, a black guy.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people don't understand about like cops, especially when they're in like these cities where like crime is so predominant, just due to the opportunities. It's like, well, then if they interact with like maybe like the same,
they probably do have struggles with white guys, but it's just probably
like
it's probably so overwhelmingly. Like black guys, or that are putting up a better fight, and then it's like because black guys should know how to fight.
Superior supremacy.
That's actually probably a problem.
Yeah,
y'all are too good at fighting.
It's our fault, guys. We gotta tone it down a little bit. Stop teaching your kids.
Stop teaching the kids to be able to physically handle themselves.
But like they're interacting probably with the same like 200 black people in that city who are responsible for all this shit.
Where it's like every 6 months or 2 years, they tend to arrest the same people.
Yeah, in a city where there's probably like thousands or hundreds of thousands of black people, but not they're looking at all black people the same because they don't know the difference between one person. Because you're in the city, you can't know anybody.
It's like the Crowder thing. It's over a period of time. Your brain is going to get warped.
Conditioned to that. Yeah, 100%. So. But instead of understanding that, having sympathy for that, we look at that, we're like, oh yeah, we understand unconscious bias is real. Oh yeah, you're a racist. Like, no, you're so close. You're so close. It's like, no. I keep on walking into all these horrible
That doesn't make sense. You're being conditioned, like, with the thug line.
Yeah.
With, like, news from, like, the 80s and 90s. It was like...
Yeah.
It was always a black guy in a hoodie, and that it wasn't ever a white guy.
Yeah. So it's like
jacked a car. It was like, well, there's a carjacking, and his name is Tyrone Williams.
Yeah,
you know?
And again, like you said before, not like white people didn't do it, but it's like you've just had enough interactions with black people. Percentage wise, you're like, well, if I'm a cop and and I don't interact with black people on a regular basis, the chances are that when I do interact with a black person. It's something negative, I'm going to have a jaded view. Because they're not interacting with doctors and lawyers and bank people working
the bank. People that make good life choices.
Yeah, they're interacting with a lot of people who make bad life choices. So, and if that's their only impression of black people, that doesn't make them racist. Like we have all the answers. We know all the shit. Like it's right there. We just we look at the thing and then we take such a my word lazy, other people say simplistic, or just at least narrow minded view of what's going on or why certain things are happening and come to the wrong conclusions and then just try to find things that confirm our conclusions as opposed to I might be wrong. I might not know. Or I might be slanted or jaded for one reason or another. Mountain Montana, there was a rep that got ousted because they were protesting and took an opportunity to stand for. It was like the only trans, or the first trans, or probably only trans representative to the state legislature. And there was a moment they were talking about something when it came to the trans, or at least they were, and they were protesting in the midst of something, and then they were trying to like, hey, you're kind of disrupting the process, and there were protesters there. They're like, let her speak, and then it's like, then she got escorted out. Then I think she got ousted from her position, and then she was interviewed afterwards. Like, oh, do you regret your decision? She's like, no, I'll never regret standing for my community. But it's like, that's a Budlight move, Anheuser-Busch move, because it's like, well, if you're a legislator, your job is to legislate. So like, if you want to be an activist,
that's different.
Yeah, they
than
made
a Budlight move, but I know
yeah,
just making a correlation.
I'm just trying to.
I know what you mean.
It's so much worse
it's
because
a stupid move.
At least with Bud, it's like they were trying to sell this thing and they thought this worked. Over here, it's like, well, you weren't trying to pass a legislation. You weren't trying to do anything. You were just playing activist when you're a legislator. Like, if you're a legislator, legislate. If you're an activist, be an activist. There's times where you could cross in between.
It's just like AOC, when she defended the black homeless guy. Did you hear about that?
I don't remember that one.
This happened like 2 days ago.
Oh, wow.
Some guy was just acting erratic and threatening people on the bus, and then a guy put him in a chokehold.
Oh, killed him. I saw a death on the subway. Yeah. Oh, okay.
But he was just one of those crazy homeless people.
Yeah.
And then like AOC was like, this is a lynching, and da-da-da-da, and she accused him of being a racist, and this is what America, and all this other shit. And I'm like, it was like, so black people...
Didn't the guy have training? Wasn't that guy like either...
He was a former Marine.
Yeah. He just saw a situation.
No, he held the chokehold too long and kept the air from getting to his head, and then that's how he died.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. But he had been arrested 44 times in 10 years.
Yeah, he was just the homeless guy.
He was just a crazy person living on the streets who had active warrants for punching an elderly woman in the face.
Yeah, and like, and if you're
not saying you should kill him, but it's like
no, but you
there's
just
like violent, erratic people who are just like completely scaring the shit out of everybody they're interacting with, and then that person just should be able to just exist and continue to do that.
Yeah,
it's not a productive society.
Not at all.
Mentally disturbed people just physically imposing themselves around all the people.
And then especially like, you don't know what people are capable of. You don't know what they have on them. It's like you don't know what they're willing to do. And like, and if someone just seems to be like aloof, and it's like, and you're trained, and you just see that situation, and you just let it happen, like that's gonna eat you alive. So it's like calling him a racist for doing that, like, it's an unfortunate thing.
Everybody else that was holding the guy down from trying to get up was not white, so that didn't matter.
You know,
in fact, the guy who was holding his legs down was black.
Well, you know, in a world where Dave Chappelle benefits from white
supremacy,
then all things are possible. So that's super upsetting. That's very.
But that's her just taking her position and conflating it and making the situation worse.
You don't have any insights with what the local law enforcement found on this guy or what his intentions are. You don't have any mind reading abilities. You have never interacted with this person before. You just fucking wild ass.
No. You're digging too deep. She just didn't care. She just saw that a white guy choked out a black person, and then she had her
knee-jerk reaction. I'm just saying, like, I'm lining up all the things that could possibly be used as a rationale behind coming to that conclusion, but instead you started from the conclusion there it is, nigger hater.
But that's all she does anyway.
No, but like she just did something.
She's very stupid. That's all she does.
No, but she just there was something she just teamed up with Matt Gaetz on that, like, a bipartisan restoration in, I forgot what it's called, Bipartisan Restoration Faith in Government Act. Yeah, it's like with Matt Gaetz to try to get money out of politics. And Matt Gaetz was saying, like, yeah, there's a lot of things I disagree with her on, and I'm sure she'll say the same about me, about I'm wrong on a lot of things. But she's like, well, one thing I know is that she's not corrupt. And it's like, and that's her whole platform, running on this progressive, small donor, against the corporatist type of mindset. And now she's teamed up with someone across the aisle to introduce legislation to try to get.
That's astounding.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's like, and that's the thing. I think that was her big appeal, and always been her big appeal, that she's been trying to work against the swamp. Yeah, essentially. So it's like, okay, well, like, you might resonate with one political view or another, one thing that she says over another, whether
I'm not a man.
Yeah.
Have you seen that video?
No. But
There's.
I thought you were going to call back to GameStop.
I'll say it later.
Okay. But it's like, I that's what she's like. She stands on this platform, which you might agree. People agree, like, oh, all in for it. But I think the thing that makes her really appealing is this, like, she's this incorruptible figure. But of late, like, there's a lot of things that are like, oh wait, she's going to the Met Gala as opposed to the union thing. Maybe she's the corporate, like, maybe she's captured by the corporate thing that she's trying to fight against. Oh wait, she's siding with Nancy Pelosi on this, or she's not balking against the Democratic establishment. Maybe she's not as radical as we thought. Maybe she's not for us as much as we thought. And then this was kind of like a callback to what she's known for. And I'm like, whoa, maybe she's not changing. Maybe she's trying to find her way in the swamp that is Congress. And it's like, okay, well, even if we might agree or disagree with her politically, it's like, at least you could stand on that. It's like, oh, cool. But then it's like, I just hate hearing shit like this. It's like, oh, wow, like seeing legislators trying to legislate something, like, especially people who are seen as incorruptible, trying to get corruption out of government, phenomenal. But then it's like they got these lazy takes on human beings that they've never interacted with and have no reason to believe anything or come to the conclusion that they're coming with. It's just like, stay in your fucking lane. Just don't do that. Bill Maher and Elon Musk, or Bill Maher had on his show, Elon Musk came on, and of course, I think it was last Friday. Yeah, last week.
I think I did see some of that.
Yeah. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, okay. And I mean, that was the part where, like, during the interview, just like, stroking Elon. But it's like, because he supports everything that he likes.
Because he was talking about the clean energy. And
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah. So he's like, oh, that's the number one issue for him. So he's like, oh, and you're like, I just talk about it. You're actually do it. So he has admiration for him because he represents what he deems to be the most existential crisis. So it's like, oh, that makes sense. But people are giving him pushback for that. I'm just like, that doesn't make sense. I mean, he's just, you might not agree with him. Say why you don't agree, but don't say, oh, why you sucking his dick? Like, because I think this dick is amazing. Like it's a stupid argument. But then, like, people were getting real mad because there's a certain point where they talk about the, I didn't even know this was a term, but the woke mind virus. And they were like, they were saying, Elon had this anecdote about how he was at a friend's for dinner and their child, like, they asked their child something about, like, what do you know about George Washington? And they said, oh, that he was a slave owner. And then Elon was like, yeah, maybe you should know more about it than that.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. And, like, to be fair, it's like, I'm pretty sure the kid knew a little bit more about George Washington than him just being a slave owner. But the point that he was making is, like, not to put the significance on slave own, not to attribute our values to...
You're taking a historical figure
out of context type of thing. So it's like, but a lot of people were just firing on that because they hate Bill Maher, they hate Elon Musk. It's like, okay, like, just, they had this conclusion and now they're like trying to paint this negative light, however way. Like, it was like the one day out the week, like, I'm like, all right, let me go on Twitter. And I saw the Crowder thing, and I saw everyone blowing up about Bill Maher. And I didn't even capture what they were saying. I don't even know if anybody's talking about it anymore. I just thought it was just ridiculous, and it kind of, in the same light where it's like people are just jumping down on people's throats that they don't like, and instead of just arguing against why they think that this is a wrong way to look at it or trying to legitimize the other perspective, they're just lazily attacking, sucking on that dog food. Speaking about Disney, Disney suing DeSantis. We'll jump into that later. Yeah, all this shit's too long to get into. Disney suing DeSantis. We'll touch on that later if it's matriculates to anything. But I mean, that just it goes back, call back to something I talked about before, where it's like I think DeSantis was wrong for what he was doing with taking the special privilege away from Disney. Not because I care about Disney and their special privileges, but more so because you can't just penalize someone who doesn't politically agree with you. Fauci defends his whole thing about why he didn't, like, he was interviewed and somebody was like, yeah, is there anything that you would do differently? And he's just like, we need to stop playing the blame game. It's like, yeah, I understand.
The game that the whole fucking thing that you caused.
Yeah, it was like, all right, it's not fair. It's not your fault. Wait a minute.
Oh, I didn't even think of that element to it. I was just thinking about like all of the briefings he was giving.
Oh yeah. So I mean, like, I don't blame him for, like, okay, based on what we know, shutting stuff down or recommending to shut stuff down.
He was the face of it all.
Yeah, I mean, look, I understand in the moment and like thinking that that's the right moment. Just say that. Say in the moment I thought this was the right move. Knowing what I know now, okay, like I could say I would have done things differently, but that's only with the knowledge of how things turned out.
Because we all know that they were lying about a bunch of things, and
yeah, I mean, he approved that fucking research to begin with at the Wuhan.
It's like they didn't do any testing.
That's the problem.
On
calling it and forcing people to do it and defending the corporations that
when they didn't even test it on people to see if it can be passed on. So it was like, I don't even know what it would be called, because it doesn't it's like the only thing it does is potentially lessen the effects of the sickness.
Yeah. What do they say? Attenuates the symptoms. Yeah. So it's just, it was just like,
the effects of the symptoms.
Yeah, you're right.
Outside of that, you still can catch it. You could still pass it on to other people.
But that's not the way they portrayed it. Yeah. So, so that was
all you
fun.
need to do is get.
Yeah. If we could get to this percentage, then everything will be okay.
Like, every being like pulled and refined.
But we're not talking about other possible what is it called when we have like these research facilities that are doing this this kind of research. We're not talking about that or the merits of that or the detriments or the possible catastrophic events that might happen if all the safety precautions aren't made, or maybe a freak accident happening and it getting out. Like, we're not talking about any of those things. We're just interviewing him based on the knowledge that we have now. It's like, it's such a lazy way to fucking look at the world. Like, look at this issue. It's just like, we need to get a good writer on that one. And then what the lady, the leader of the AFT union, the school union, Weingarten lady, Miss Weingarten. I don't know I forgot her first name, but she was something similar. It's like, she said something to the effect of like, we've been fighting so hard to try to get schools back open, and then people are like, wait a minute, what, you kind of were the person who was kind of advocating to close the schools down. So how can both of these things be true at the same time? And she's like, I've been
since COVID, since they've gone back to school, like, fighting and assaults on teachers are like way up.
Yeah, well, shit, I didn't know that. That's crazy. I know that the union's really hurting, and I think that's what she's on the TV now, like, saying all these things, but
hurting because you're all corrupt as fuck.
Yeah. A lot of that money in the school system doesn't go to the students, doesn't go to the books, doesn't go to the teachers.
It goes to administrators.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see Bill Maher talk about? I can't remember if it was Yale or Harvard. He was talking to these two or three people on the panel, and like,
oh no, the two professors.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was painful. I was so angry.
I'm talking about the amount of administrators
Oh no, I don't remember that part.
It's an Ivy League school. I can't remember which one it is, but like, there's like 10,000 like administrators that are like in some Ivy League, like Harvard or Yale, and he's like 10. What are they doing? And it's all these different, bullshit departments and stuff like that.
Yeah, I forgot about that part. No, it was. I think that
it might have been the same one because it was.
Yeah, no, I think it was the same one. It's just that.
I'm pretty sure it was 10,000. It was like 10,000 administrators.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's
man.
absurd.
Yeah, and they have like crazy amount of.
And it's like,
endowments.
So it's like, and like this is why it costs so much to go there because you're just paying administrative fees.
Meanwhile, they're sitting on a buttload of cash just in reserve,
getting a terrible education.
Yeah. Getting that job and going to Bud and making choices. Oh man. But yeah, I wanted to jump into the gun thing, but just so much other shit happened. I was like, that's just gonna have to be some other time. It's and there's some other stuff that happened, but it's just drowned out because of everything that's going on with guns. But yeah, Title 42 is ending, so they're sending troops to the border to secure the border as much as they can because they're expecting an influx of people coming through or trying to come through since the asylum ban since people won't be denied asylum as much due to Title 42. Yeah, so it's like I've been talking to some people who were painting some pictures on the border. I was like, oh, it's crazy out there. But yeah, but we're not talking about that. We're not having an immigration conversation. We're not because everyone's just focused on all these. Oh wow, Tucker got fired. Oh my god, what's Don Lemon doing now? I'm sorry.
Don Lemon isn't gonna do anything. That's what Don Lemon's gonna do.
Yeah, that's about it. Fuck it. We got through everything. Only 3 hours and some change.
We didn't pigeonhole ourselves into one topic.
Yeah, that was impressive. I like doing this. Just like rifle through that shit. So. Anyways, guys, that's it for today. Maybe next week we'll get to guns unless shit gets crazier. But we'll see.
I don't want it to get crazy.
Yeah, me neither.
Jesus.
All right. All right, everybody. Like and subscribe.
Until next time.
Peace.
Well, less than 24 hours until the end of Title 42, the Texas-Mexico border is bracing for an influx of immigrants. That's the COVID-era policy that allows border officials to quickly expel those seeking asylum. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has the details.
This morning, hundreds of U.S. troops have arrived at the southern border, the first of 1,500 being sent by the Biden administration to help cope with the massive surge of migrants expected in the coming days. Migrants like this man who wiped away tears after finally reaching El Paso.
Is your crime because you're happy?
Tomorrow, COVID-era border restrictions known as Title 42 expire.
We are prepared to be here indefinitely because everybody has a theory about what's going to happen when Title 42 ends, but nobody knows.
President Biden last night was blunt, saying the problems at the border are about to get worse.
It's going to be chaotic for a while.
Border officials predict up to 10,000 people will try to cross the border each day, far more than the 3,500 they can comfortably handle. This video shows migrants trying to enter Mexico from Guatemala for the journey north. One congressman says at least 80,000, mostly Venezuelan nationals, are headed to the U.S. Places as far north as Chicago and New York have declared emergencies.
Well, it is a crisis situation. There'll be literally thousands of more individuals coming across the border and ultimately find their way up to the state of New York.
Back in El Paso, ICE agents are telling migrants living on the streets to pack up and get processed or face deportation. While many focus on the impact the surge will have on federal resources, others are sympathetic to those looking for a better life. This gas station owner in Brownsville, Texas, is giving migrants a chance to earn money washing cars.
It's really sad. They leave their family behind, they have no money, they're hungry, and they're asking for a job just to get something just to eat.
To deal with the surge, the White House has just announced new asylum rules. They limit asylum eligibility for non-Mexican migrants who cross the border without approval. Migrants will also be required to enroll in a limited parole program. Andrew Dimber, ABC News, New York.